are live, Wrestle Purist live, hosted by myself and Rob's paragraph today, doing the Raw recap, Raw review, whatever you want to call this. Call it Wrestle Purist live, call it the Raw recap, call it the Raw quote review. We're going to be talking about Raw. We're going to be talking about all that other stuff as well that's on the timeline that people have been talking about, and all the news that's been coming out today and over. No, we didn't even do worldwide yesterday. My fault. But we got a few things to talk about then. So, first things first, please like, subscribe, send any super chats with any topics, any questions, any takes, anything like that you want us to talk about, and we'll get into it. But hope everyone's doing good. Fellow co-host, Rob, what's going on today? You muted, brother.
I forgot you have to. I forgot it doesn't.
It's good. It's good, man. Tell the people what's going on.
I'm good. Obviously last week we didn't get the Raw. We did do the Raw review last week, and then we didn't do the Dynamite review because Chris had to go to the dentist, and then Novi had gotten sick, so we didn't do the Don't know you have to go somewhere or something. Needless to say, we didn't do the Dynamite review last week, and then yesterday we couldn't really do worldwide. I was supposed to do worldwide, but I had a few things I had to do yesterday. So and but I did catch Raw. I did end up catching Raw. I caught the beginning of Raw before I had to go do what I had to go do, and then I caught kind of the end coming out. But then I kind of watched the whole show, and like I said in my post, bro, not gonna lie, I was not impressed. I was not impressed by a lot of what took place on Monday Night Raw last night. I only liked like a few things from the show last night, like one match, and like a couple of angles, but that's pretty much it. But I'm again this week, just like last week, I'm kind of excited to talk about some of these things. So yeah,
there's definitely things to pick apart, bro. Because like you said, you didn't like the show, but it was a weird split opinion. I thought last night. Like coming out of Raw, there was the people who thought it was like this lifeless, limp, boring episode. Then there was people who were like, yeah, man, we're back on track. This was a good little episode of TV, unoffensive. Like, I seen that was kind of the split. It wasn't a thing where people hated it or loved it. It was like some people just kind of was bored, and then there was some people who thought it was like a pretty decent show. So obviously we'll get into it. I don't know where I'll find myself. I'm sure we'll kind of I'll come to some sort of conclusion by the end of this though. And it was a Raw in Glasgow, another European show. Obviously, especially with the announcements that they did last night, it feels like the big Raw in like the UK area is going to be the London one next week. You know what I'm saying? So they did a lot of big announcements, and obviously there's been a few discourse points coming out of it as well. Obviously, John Cena, of course, he's at the middle of some of it as well. There's been the El Grande Americano stuff as well, which kind of last night was kind of a story of two halves, you know. But we'll get into that as well, you know. A couple of people in the live chat talking about the countdown music. Bro, I hate that stuff, man. I hate the new countdown music that StreamYard that's what they've put on us, bro. It's sad, man. It's sad, but of course, like I said earlier as well, there's a few news things that I want to get into as well, because Sean Ross Sapp, Fightful Select, they've just dropped news that, well, two things really about the TNA departures, including Gail Kim. And when I say departures, I mean firings. And there's been a few talent already posting on Twitter. Don't seem like the TNA talent are very happy with some of these recent departures. And of course, Mariah May, according to those in AEW, apparently there's a big belief that her contract is up this summer. So of course, you know, there's some news there to get into, and a few other things as well. Rob, come on, bro.
I didn't say nothing yet. I didn't say anything yet.
You don't need to, but when we get there, we're gonna get there. You know, Rob's got things to say. You know, right, let's we got a couple super chats. You know, only a couple, but if you want to send some in right now before we dive into Raw, get them in. Of course, you can send them as we're going through Raw and anything else that we end up talking about as well. And let's do it. Super chatter's name I will never say. Monty, you gotta say my name one time. Hot take: Jevon Evans will be the most over wrestler in the industry by 2027. Yes, counting all the companies. I think with wrestling, you can't predict like 2-3 years into the future. It's too far, bro. think weird things happen, unexpected twists happens, people jump all over the place, creatives get fired, hired, it's all over the place. So I'm never bold enough to be like, this person will do this in like 3 years, unless it's kind of a, you know, like a Bron Breakker or Tiffany Stratton. You can just tell that WWE is obviously, and of course they're amazingly talented, but WWE is obviously going to go with them and give them the rocket ship that we've been seeing them both get, you know.
Yeah.
But in terms of being like the number one most over person in the whole business, I'd never call that prediction. But Jevon Evans is special, bro. He is special, so
I
it
feel
don't
like
shock me that you'd have that take. Like,
I feel like if they okay, I was just trying to make sure my mic was working because my wire was blocking the mic shit. The
you
mic
good,
monitor.
bro. You good.
But yeah, no. So with the whole thing I was talking about with when you talk about Jevon Evans, I feel like he's very, very over right now, and that's a good thing for him because people really didn't know who he was before he really got to NXT. Like obviously the people who watch DPW, very, very few. Let me not. The people that watch DPW obviously knew who he was. Like
some good highlight reels.
And then they did. You know what the WWE side of Twitter does? They always post a highlight reel of the wrestler that they've never watched before they heard about them coming to WWE. So they post a highlight reel about them, and before they come to WWE shows what they really can do. But I feel like besides the highlight reel, since he's come in, I feel like he's really taking advantage of kind of the fanfare that he got when he was coming in. And I feel like he's kind of gotten himself over kind of on his own. He's kind of gotten himself over on his own in the sense to where he's like real good at what he does, bro. He's really good at what he does, bro. Like,
don't you think he's?
I feel like I don't feel like he's there. He's like,
don't you think he's like personality and like the way? Don't you think his personality and the way he is like perfect for NXT as well, bro? Like,
yes, yeah,
he's
like,
just a perfect for right now in his career whilst he's young and everything. He's just like a perfect fit for like where NXT is at right now, you know?
Yeah, because he fits the quote unquote younger demographic that NXT is trying to shoot at. You know what I mean? He fits like that. He fits like that the mold of the kind of the younger guy. Not even just like in terms of like the terms he uses, the slang that he uses. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like a lot of like especially younger black kids can see themselves in Jevon Evans. And a lot of younger black men can see themselves in Jevon Evans and see themselves in kind of these other. They can see themselves in these other wrestlers, like that's fine. But like with Jevon Evans, I feel like he's kind of getting up there. He might have a certain he might have a higher ceiling than some other wrestlers. Some other wrestlers are stuck doing Mellow Dome is right now.
Say the names, bro.
So some other wrestlers
you cooking some over there.
So some other wrestlers are tagging with Miz, and
come
on. You might have a higher ceiling. Nah. I like Mello, but I don't know, man. It feels like it feels like the office as well. They really believe in him as well. Like the NXT office, at least they really believe in him. So
yeah, am I back? My connection just went all crazy. I think I'm back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're good. We hear you.
I'm good. Okay. Beautiful. Yeah, Jevon Evans.
Might have a run in very, very soon.
Oh shit. Someone said it in the chat. I want to pull it up. Someone said Jevon Evans going to be the next Hardy, and I want to link it back to kind of what Rob was just saying about like how he has this how like young black kids, young black men can kind of see themselves in Jevon Evans a bit, and it's like it's very natural, bro. It's very authentic, not one bit forced. Sometimes you can see like, especially obviously in wrestling, and some people have gimmicks and not ham up like certain parts of their personalities. You know what I'm saying? And like it'll be kind of like forced, like like the slang and stuff that Rob briefly touched on. And it's not even that. It's just he just comes across mad genuine, bro. Like he just does, like that's him. You see what you see is what you get with Jevon Evans, and that's like we're talking about just like how likable he is as like a person, bro. Then you combine that with him genuinely being like mad impressive in the ring in 2025 as well. Like the shit he can do stands out even in 2025 when we've all seen fucking everything that everyone could possibly do with the human body. You know what I'm saying? So He's a special one, bro. I'm a big fan of Jevon Evans. We got a special running. Oh no. Oh no. I need to switch up the camera angles because otherwise we're gonna look all mad one sec. Boom. There he is. Yo, what's going on, Ibou?
What's going on, brother?
What's going on, everybody? It's my first appearance on this Raw review since before the Rumble.
Let's go. He finally came back to work. Let's go.
Since the hashtag incident.
I suppose, yeah. I haven't.
How that one gift go?
What's up?
Yeah. Yo, you never seen the one gift? Yo, I'll send it in the chat. But let's go. Niggas finally back to work.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I said, you know what? Let me just pass by for a quick little run in. You know, hit a couple moves, go on the top rope pose. You know, there's some interesting stuff happening in wrestling this morning. So, you know, just passing by. I heard you guys talking, Jevon. It's been an interesting morning. You know, TNA wrestlers running the yell to me about things going on and all that.
Some of them are running to the timeline, bro. I've seen it. I only briefly seen it before I came on live, so I can't go like into detail about who tweeted what, who said what. But I've even seen some shit on the timeline, bro.
People are very upset about this Gail Kim thing. They're very, very upset about it. She was real high up, man. Like, there's some people that considered her like second to Tommy. You know, so
yeah.
It's an interesting time for the wrestling industry, and what's happening with TNA is something that warrants monitoring for the next few months, I think.
TNA
fans, welcome to Peacock.
Well, listen, in a few years' time, bro, in many years' times, when man's look back on like this TNA rebrand, the power is back, all that bullshit, bro.
Yeah,
we're gonna look back on it and be like, what the fuck was that, bro?
Yeah, that was like 4 weeks of just like, you know what I mean, fist pumping.
We even tried, bro. We tried, you know. I remember Usman on here like, yeah, man, TNA blood.
It's crazy.
I'm ashamed.
Everybody was excited. Damore was cutting post-show promos saying, you know, we're TN fucking A and all that shit. And he was so fired. He was fired.
And then Naomi left.
Dude, Will Ospreay was doing TVs and shit, you know, like having awesome matches. He was giving TNA some of their best matches in the history of the promotion, you know, in like a 1 month span. He's cutting promos like, I love TNA, bro. I've always loved TNA. I grew up on TNA, man. You know, and all that. But
and then they got the partnership with AAA back.
Yeah, I remember that. Vikingo did a show. I think like Shelly was in the vibes were nice for like a month, you know, and then
the Machine Guns were leaving, and then Damore left, and then the Machine Guns were leaving, and then Josh Alexander was going to leave, and they were like, no, nigga, you're here another year.
They quite literally like forced him to stay, and then like changed the wording of their own announcement to soften that, because they were basically just like, we have exercised our 1 year option on Josh Alexander, and they changed the headline to like, Josh Alexander will re-sign with TNA for a year, and it's like, he did not re-sign anything, brother. You niggas exercised an option. Like, no, 1 more year, buddy. 1 more year.
They said, where you think you
fine printed him, bro? It's crazy.
They said you must,
and he was just kind of like, all right, I guess.
They said he thought he was on his way out the door. He said, "You lost, boy."
Exactly.
Who told you could leave?
And then you know, and then WWE started eye emojiing what was going on. Like, hey, is this thing dying? What's happening here? You know, and they were just kind of like,
swooped in, you know.
Listen, TNA was the girl that just had a messy breakup, right? And WWE kind of, you know, they walked in, put the arm around the shoulder, and like, hey, you want to talk? Is everything all right? No, let's talk. Let's have a good conversation. No, I got you. Just come. You know, we can just talk inside. You know, and now we have the situation we have here, where they're downsizing and they're not really trying to pay people, and a lot of people have been asked to take pay cuts. You know, we saw what happened to PCO. You know what I mean,
bro?
My God,
that PCO shit was.
Brother, they just like they absolutely fucked them. They absolutely fucked PCO, and a lot of other
shoot promos on them and that.
Yeah, pretty sure Rhino's done too. Like a lot of dudes, basically, like they essentially kind of either ghosted some talents or just were like, hey, so we're gonna have to just start paying you this now. What do you say? And a lot of people were like, no, fuck that, But
Nigga, Rhino left them for NWA, bro.
like, really think about that. Rhino is in NWA right now. It's very spooky. And then the other question that I'm having personally is WWE. They now send their writers. I don't know if you knew this, Monty. They now send their NXT writers to the Impact tapings. And obviously,
let's go.
It's a slippery slope.
And here's it feels like Christian missionaries walking into Africa, But like, here's the thing. I get it. Their reasoning is, we have NXT wrestlers at these tapings, so we need people that understand these characters to kind of help out with, making sense of some things. Okay, sure, fair enough, I suppose. But it is just an interesting time because my thing is, and I've spoken to wrestlers about this. If WWE cuts you, right, TNA used to always be an easy landing spot if you've been released. What's going to happen with that now? Because I don't watch Impact regularly, but every Thursday when highlights come on my timeline about TNA Impact, it's just NXT wrestlers popping up. It's either that or it's like Mike.
Yeah, they got no motion right now, bro. It's crazy.
Yeah, my days, bro.
Even with the WWE stuff.
Well,
or it's my Puerto Rican uncles, Epico and Primo pulling up, Elias pulling up,
and I'm just the question I ask is like, what are you trying to be? Like, what are you trying to do? Are you just WWE's dumping ground for them to just throw there? Because I get, from WWE's standpoint, this is godly. It's like, oh, we could just throw in like our PC bench to this place and they can get reps and we don't got to worry about them. That's awesome. That's great. From TNA standpoint, it's like, what's going on here? Are you cashing out? Now I spoke to people today about the Gail Kim thing, Monty, and
what they're saying, Ibou.
They're very mad. She was really respected. Like, she was really,
bro. Remember when sorry, but you remember when Stephanie left WWE and everyone was like, oh well, everyone liked Stephanie and she was like the one that the talent really liked to like go to if they wanted some more, whatever it may be. She had really good like reputation in the locker room. It's like Gail Kim. It's like that's like times 10.
Right.
Like,
man. She, like I said, she was very high up. She was very involved with the process, creative, and also just like other business on the business side. But she was really, really, really well liked, and everyone has the same consistent story, which is that she pushes so hard for the women, which I totally buy. She's one of those Maria Kanellis figures where she just that's kind of her big calling in the industry. Like it's to really
unsung heroes, brother.
Yeah, on a producer side to really just keep them involved. So it's a tough one. Sean Ross had made it very clear that she was not. This is not like a walkout. Like she got fired, right? And I did some digging, and I don't think I'm the only person to put this out, but like this was 100% an Anthem call. It was Anthem. The talent believed it was Anthem. This is an Anthem call. I'm not sure what's going on with that. I don't know if it's a downsizing thing. I know financially, like I said, a lot of the talents they were asked to take pay cuts, but Anthem is now cleaning out the management side of TNA, and Dave Meltzer basically confirmed that it was Anthem because he said that all the departures were decisions made by Carlos Silva. Carlos Silva, Monty, is the president of Anthem Sports Group. So that lines up with what the talent said because they said it was Anthem, and then Dave says it was Carlos Silva. He's their president. So whatever. I don't know what Anthem's going to ultimately decide to do with TNA.
Wow. But Sean Ross up 6 minutes ago. Delirious is slated to head up creative in TNA.
I wonder what that means for Tommy. I wonder what that means for Tommy Dreamer because when you ask talent the last year who was booking this show, they would tell you it was a committee, and I would inquire deeper, and they would say, "Oh, well, Tommy will do this and that, and Delirious will do this and that, and Gail will help produce A, B, and C." And there were some weeks, Monty, where I kid you not, Bully Ray was very involved with the creative process. But,
not WWE LFG's Bully Ray.
Yeah, and I was asking talent like what's going on right now, and I was asking them like what Tommy's doing these days, and they said he's like talent relations, and he just kind of helps them with some of the like communication. Like he basically will communicate. he's the guy communicating from the office to the talent, you know. So,
I think
um,
there's,
Sorry.
so that's kind of the deal.
Tommy
with that.
Dreamer.
Either way, I'll tell you this: a year ago, right, a year and a half ago, when I would talk to people in wrestling about TNA, they all kind of had this weird foreboding tone, and I would try to figure out what that meant. And it was one of those weird things where they just were generally pessimistic about their future prospects. And I would ask about in what way, and it just the vibe I was given by wrestlers in the industry, some of which were in TNA, some of them just on the outside. But you know, all these people talk. You know, all these people talk, and they just got the vibe that Anthem essentially wasn't confident in the project, and as a result, a lot of people thought that TNA as we knew it at that point was not long for the world. And I say all that to say, and this is not me being a doomer or me even forecasting anything that I know directly. This is not like a scoop, right? But I actually honestly think that they're going to look to sell within the next year or two. So I was talking to Joe about this, Monty. It would not surprise me personally. This is me personally. Wouldn't surprise me if they became like a subsidiary of TKO within a year.
Listen, if TKO want to throw some money at them, I'm sure they'll take it, bro. Because with TNA, what are you even buying, bro? Like, it's
the thing. You're buying the library, and to WWE the value. I remember when I asked like last year, like why you guys are working with TNA, and I would ask them, and you know the people in the creative process, right? And then like not the numbers people, not the money people, right? They have different goals. The people in the creative process are people just involved with putting this, you know, producing all that type of stuff. Their mentality was, look, they're gonna get a short-term exposure boost, and their houses will be up, and they get that buzz. We get the benefit of getting a look at some of their best wrestlers, but also having a place to put. They're honest, yeah. But also they're saying like, hey, we can put some of our our talents that didn't get enough reps, and just have them go to TNA to work with pros. Like they respected a roster as pros and said, hey, they could work there. And I get that from like a wrestling standpoint. I could understand like that being them. It's, you know what I mean. It's like they got to look at Jordan Grace. They got to look at that Alex Hammerstone booking. That was Joe. I mean, Monty. That was basically a soft tryout. Like, we know what that was. You know what I mean? That was a soft tryout, and then he had that bad match.
We saw what happened.
We saw what happened.
Yo, come on. You're not too much on my team. Yo, but
Right,
he is cooked. He is physically cooked.
It is what it is. But like, you know, they had a look at Jordan Grace. They were able to get reps for people like Carmen Petrovic and Sol Ruka and so on and so forth. They were able to establish connections and all that kind of thing. So that was WWE's mindset. But again, if you're TNA, what I think, completely honestly, if I'm just being completely honest, I think they were facing the prospects of an imminent death, and they said, we're going to prolong this and then ultimately cash out. We're going to prolong this and then cash out.
The current landscape, according to Mark Johnson at PW Insider, is obviously.
Wait. Oh, sorry. One more thing. The other thing was WWE they wanted to use TNA as a way to fight against any further, I believe it's antitrust lawsuits. Basically the lawsuits about I'm forgetting the word.
Monopolizing.
MLW, the monopolizing,
right?
Like the MLW one.
What they don't want to face what they dealt with MLW, right? Correct. And so that was a big incentive and motivating factor in doing this. But go ahead, Monty.
So like Sean Rossap reported earlier, Delirious is head of creative. Tommy Dreamer remains on the creative team as well. I think something about Dreamer being talent relations. Let me just double check that. No, he's still on creative. But yeah, basically, Tommy Dreamer's still on creative because you did ask about him earlier, didn't you? But yeah, and just talking about Gail Kim's role and how, yeah, there it is. Tommy Dreamer will now be heading the talent relations end of the company, and and just kind of
because that's gonna go so well.
Cool.
My bad, y'all.
So yeah, a lot of changes in not in PW Insider, in TNA, as reported by PW Insider, as reported by Sean, and some reaction from the talent as well, that Ibou's touched on as well.
Nobody's happy about this.
You know what's kind of, you know what's
Yeah.
funny to me? You know what's mad funny to me? How does, when a company is on death's door, on their deathbed, does Tommy Dreamer always find a way to be head of talent relations? This is not the first time.
Everywhere he works. He was in talent
It's not
relations
the
in
first
WWE. He was in talent relations in ECW. He's talent relations now.
Listen, he knows what he knows what to say, bro. You know what I'm saying?
He knows how to be office, I guess. I don't know.
He knows how to bullshit talent, bro. You know, he dealt with Heyman for all those years.
Right. He had a front row seat to Paul Heyman, like calming people down and lying to them. You know.
No, because you know why? Because Paul Heyman calmed him down and lied to him too. That nigga was about to get damn near $1 million from WCW on 3 different occasions. And Paul Heyman was like, "Please, bro, please, I'll do whatever you need, bro. Please, just don't go, please."
It's a shame what happened to D'Amore, man. He really believed in the project. I'm pretty sure he wanted to buy TNA.
He did. That was reported. That's
Did
out there,
he
bro.
said
Did that actually get that got formally reported, right?
It was reported, and then he confirmed in a later interview.
Yeah, see, I was gonna say because that was common knowledge in the business. Like he wanted to buy the thing, dude. He was going all in, Monty. On the
he got money as well, bro. He won't give you no bullshit offers.
It's crazy.
Which is like, where did he even get this money from? I forgot.
I got another message from a wrestler in TNA, and she's just not happy. No, she's just very. This Gail Kim one feels like I really don't. I'm not trying to. Well, I don't want to sound severe or dramatic, but it's like this. Like the immediate reaction to this is like, "Wow, is it over? Like, what's going on?" Imagine the person that you walk into you come to work into TV for every week, or not a week, like in their case, for like every month, for guidance, right? And Gail Kim, somebody that like they look to as a leader, and it's like the powers that be just axed her. You know what I mean? It's like, why? What's going on here? Is this over? So this feels like one of those like loss of trust moves.
Yeah, it's a big one, bro. Look, it kind of feels like Scott again. Obviously, Scott was like Mr. TNA in it, so. But like in terms of the initial reaction over this first like hour, it's been it feels very similar, bro.
People are very concerned.
And just to touch on, since it's what we're talking about right now, Van Jimenez and $9.99. I said something on Ibou's tweet, but they should have sold to Scott. He was going to spend 10 mil to buy, and they fired bro, and now clearly selling. Talent loved him on some Paul Heyman EC Dub vibes.
I genuinely don't believe TNA costs $10 million. Number one, I don't believe that. I don't believe.
It sounds like
a
bad investment still. That sounds like
TNA costs to fucking $10 million. Yeah, $10 million probably divided by like what, 8 or 10. Like, come on, let's be real here, or 5. Excuse me.
Did we ever find out how much TK paid for ROH?
No. Wasn't it? Didn't it come relatively cheap?
It should have.
Definitely should have.
It should have.
All right, let me.
But yeah, man, Van Jimenez, appreciate the super chat, but yeah, 10 mil, bro. If he was gonna spend that, then they should have ripped his hand off, bro. But what do I know? I ain't some business analyst, you know. If you're talking about TNA assets, it's not like they've got a huge TV deal. It's not like they've got these amazing talent contracts either. Bro, it's not like they've got a couple. They've got a little bit. They've got a nice digital library, bro. You know, and it's not exactly like it's gonna like get you 1 million subscriptions on any service anytime soon either.
And their TV deal isn't even on some major TV network. It's Anthem's own TV network.
Yeah, exactly, so bro. That's what I mean. You're not even getting a TV deal if you buy the.
I want to kind of say something too. So, because people are trying to make sense of WWE's involvement in just this general thing happening and like what's going on. Here's the deal. So,
okay.
WWE also, folks. Part of why. So, remember how they've made the formal announcement that they were in a partnership with TNA?
Yeah.
So. They had been in a partnership for about a year before that announcement. The reason it was formalized is because they want to aid in TNA getting TV deals in international markets. And it's a big plus in negotiation when you go, we are in an official business partnership with the WWE, right? Now, why is WWE trying to get TNA in international TV markets? Well, they are doing that, Monty, because if they can get TNA international TV deals with exclusivity, then it boxes out a certain elite promotion from getting TV deals in those markets. And so WWE and Nick Khan, these guys are savages. They looked at this and they were like, oh my God, we could get out of antitrust lawsuits. We could get them to train our kids. We could steal their talent. And we could just shoot Tony Khan in the fucking kneecaps. My God, Nick Khan was like, let's fucking do it.
Khan's already put the call into Delirious, bro, and being like, you know what would be a really good time slot for TNA.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. And so, Tony's gonna be walking up to fucking India or whatever the fuck, and he's gonna be like, hey, what do you think about Dynamite? And they're like, nope, sorry, Impact's already airing. You know what I mean? And it's like that's the game. This is how the mafia runs the world. And that's kind of the deal with that. Regarding these downsized decisions right over here, like I said, with Gail Kim and stuff, the firings, there are talent that think that Anthem is just, like I said, they are basically like, we're not putting any more money into this fucking thing. Down to, and in their minds, and this is just talent speculation that I'm just kind of relaying out, because they're just openly speculating to me and they don't mind it being out. But the thinking from some of these people, as I'm kind of replying to some people now, is basically Tommy can do Gail's job, and we don't actually have confidence or investment in this project. It's almost like, Tommy, you do your job and hers. Like it doesn't matter to us. You know what I mean? And they don't care about the quality of the show or how the talent feel about that. So it's just another part of the downsizing. In a different way, she got the same treatment PCO got, basically.
You know what it is, Ibou?
What's up?
No, you know how you said WWE is sending writers to the TNA shows?
Yeah.
You know how in the Sopranos they'd be pulling up once a month, once a week to collect interest?
Yes.
That's what that is. That's them pulling up and collecting interest. That's them kicking up their 10%.
Listen, bro, it's a cold world. It's a cold business. It's well documented, and WWE is right at the middle of it, at the scene of the crime.
It's nasty because when it comes to the international part of it and like how that affects AEW and some of the other stuff, it's like, objectively, this is like a really sound strategy. You know what I mean? It's like, wow, that is some ruthless business, but it's also like nasty as fuck and really disgusting. It's like, I just look at the strategy, right? Just the strategy, and I'm like, that is a crazy game plan. Like that, you niggas are crazy. Like you niggas are something else. But
you know what it is with TNA, like you kind of expected at this point, because TNA, bro, how many times in the last 15 years, Ibou, Monty, since 2010, not even 2010, since 2013, have we heard that like TNA has been on death's door, and like they're scrambling to do,
it's the cockroach of the wrestling business, bro.
Bro, I was 11 years old and TNA was dying, and they were going through money issues. I was 12 years old and they were getting kicked off of Destination America and had to scramble to find TV, and found Pop TV of all places. The place that is not even it's not even a sports channel, it's a fucking soap opera channel. And they had to find Pop TV of all places to get TV. So it's just like, with TNA, how many times can you just be at death's door and like survive? Like, I don't understand. They're not going to survive this one. They can't.
I mean, they will in some form. But they might, by the end of this, just be an empty vessel.
unless they become like Evolve to WWE. I'm about to say, like, unless they become like Evolve.
It's literally just going to be like a soulless whore. Like
WWE is just going to make them another Evolve, bro. Like,
I'm telling you, it's going to be a year and a half from now, and they're going to be like a subsidiary of TKO. Pay very close attention to the landing spots of the last set of WWE releases. Just pay very close attention to them.
Yep.
Speaking of which, you see Baron Corbin, the new host on Busted Open. Anybody see
serious?
this?
What?
I'm pretty sure this is something I seen on the
You know what's funny?
timeline earlier.
So
And I may have
apparently
even retweeted it.
You know what's funny? The Busted Open gig apparently is like a really like solid paying gig, to where like I've heard about wrestlers that are like, I could pick up a day on Busted Open and do a little podcasting, and I'm like, wow, like this is like it's a more viable option than like doing an indie date for some guys, basically. So it doesn't surprise me.
Here, bro.
And it's not paying that much nowadays.
Exactly.
Busted Open Radio just announced hashtag Busted Open 24/7 is adding Tom Pestock as a new host. Welcome to the team.
Oh, let's go.
Tom Pestock, Listen, bro.
Delirious is one of the greatest. Delirious, the way he fails upward is unbelievable. He books these companies into oblivion and then just like finds his way into like another promotion in the same role.
Bro, it's one of the worst things about the business sort of thing. Obviously not Delirious specifically, that's crazy, but like the way that companies will just get anybody because they've got experience. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Delirious has worked at 1-2 companies before, so he's worked in those office positions and creative and blah 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 blah. So he'll land at TNA or he'll land at wherever the fuck he ends up landing up. And he's not the only one, bro. There's loads of them. There's people like that in WWE right now.
Dude, Jimmy's
about to say.
Jimmy Jacobs found himself around Maple Leaf. Like this is just how the business goes. Because here's what it really is. You have to speak a specific language to do pro wrestling and to put it together. And there's a finite, limited amount of people that know how, just at a base level, know how to do the job and do it like efficiently without anybody having to teach them anything, right? And so it's not even about like if you're good at it. It's just who's available that can help me do the following tasks while I'm putting together my show. That's why Brian James continues to get paid by wrestling companies. It's why Bruce Pritchard is employed. It's why so many people will continue to go back to like the same old names for writing and producing in pro wrestling. It's because it's just one of those things where they need the efficiency of guys that just know how to do their job. And in many such cases, these people are devoid of any new concepts or anything like that. But it doesn't matter when the priority for a lot of these companies is just we need the job done. Jimmy Jacobs, one of his big strengths, Monty, I said this many times before, that motherfucker can draw you up a format in a snap.
15 minutes.
15 minutes, I got you a format. Jimmy, can you just come up with some shit for why these guys are fighting? I got a pre-tape for you right now. Give me 3 minutes. Easy. And like that's Jimmy. And that's many people like that. Brian James. Brian, why is this match happening? Well, fuck, I got a pre-tape for you. Miz walks into Carmelo Hayes's, whatever, and then they have this interaction and blah 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 blah. Cool, thanks, Brian. You made my life easy there. You know what I mean? Is it good? No, it's crap. It's crap. But like that's the business. To that point, Delirious. The guy's been fucking putting together wrestling shows and wrestling broadcasts for fucking years. So it's like, we need a guy to get that job done and allow Tommy to maybe focus his efforts on another thing. And if you're Anthem, you look at that and you're like, all right, this project that doesn't make us any money. We just saved some money. And the task is the TV is still getting out on time. The TV is still done. So what's it to us? That's what they think. What's it to us? We just saved Gail Kim's talent contract. I mean, her Gail Kim, we're paying her 6 figures, and now we don't have to pay that money. That's how they look at it, unfortunately.
Yeah. All right, let's whilst we got you, Boo, we'll run through these super chats because I'm sure some of them are sent on whilst you've been here, bro. So
yeah, give me any Ibou specific ones. Do it. I'm gonna try to get up out of here within the next 10 to 15 minutes.
All right, let me get this one out of the way because I've pulled it up now. But Showtime Spurs, $5. Appreciate you, brother, as always. Actually prefer the new countdown music. Come on, bro. Quite soothing. Anyway, this TNA stuff feels foreboding. Couldn't hurt for TK to get Gail in as a producer. She knows her stuff, bro. I'm all for. I think voices like her and Maria Kanellis and people like that who are genuine, like have got proven records of like doing good stuff with women's division and women's wrestling and stuff, but also they've you just need more people like that with actual reputations in the business, So I would not like to see somebody like Gail Kim and even Maria to like kind of fizzle out. So yeah, all right. Let me look for some Ibou super chats. See, these they don't say your name specifically, but they're clearly, Just a chill guy, Meat Wild 199. Does anyone know the date on AJ Styles' contract?
No, but he's on injury time at the moment.
Will Chisholm $2. Will AEW and WWE try to get Gail Kim? I hope so.
I don't think Gail Kim will be employed for very long. I don't know what her relationship is. I don't know what her relationship.
You mean unemployed?
WWE. She was very negative on WWE for a long time, like a really long time. She was at an NXT taping a couple months ago, and I don't know what took place there, what conversations were had, but she was at an NXT. So I don't know. We'll see, but I think either company should be trying to get her.
What else we got? Matthew $2. Did New Japan care at all about the TNA WWE partnership?
I can't say for certain, but I can tell you this. I mean, New Japan had a soft alliance with TNA that fizzled over the last, that fizzled about 2 years ago. And I think it's pretty clear, there are sides. New Japan was friendly with TNA, and they're friendly with AEW. And TNA, started to veer in another direction, and so New Japan took a couple steps back. And that's just kind of how it goes. I don't think it's good business on their end to be flirting with TNA while being aligned directly with AEW if TNA is going to be in a formal legal partnership with WWE. So that New Japan TNA thing is dead. And it's been dead for a while.
Yeah, no, yeah. Like you haven't seen some of the New Japan guys that were there during it there in a long time.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Ryan $2.79 Canadian. Any knowledge on the European wrestler tryouts? The WWE ones, I assume. There was a report yesterday, though, wasn't there?
Yeah, Duress, Rio.
Yeah, Corey Brennan fought for Select.
Absolutely. Does a really good job. Real tapped in with the European scene with NXT. They're gonna be they're trying out Luke Jacobs and man like DeRace and wasn't Ricky Knight Jr. among the names there?
I don't think so.
Yo, listen.
I'm pulling it up here. Yeah, man like DeRace, Rio, Luke Jacobs, Zazaya, Golden Boy Santos, and Adam Maxted.
We're good.
Adam Maxted was the guy who was on Love Island. He was on Love Island years ago.
Funny. That Golden Boy Santos guy has a good look. You know what's weird about these tryouts, Monty? So they took a lot of people that have names within the UK independent scene. These are people that I see on these cards all the time. You know what I mean? Rev Pro and Progress and things like that. And so they have names, right? But normally, recently, WWE doesn't just go for the biggest indie name. They go for people that they think are fits for WWE. And I bring that up because I look at these guys and it's a lot of undersized dudes and guys that I really just visually cannot just
visualize.
Yeah, but for example, Luke Jacobs, his big.
I hear you.
His
big, you, brother.
his big calling was he was Walter Light, and then he lost weight. And I'm looking at him visually, he's 5'10", 5'11", And a 5'10", 5'11" guy who's not as big as he used to be, and so now he's just lean.
Walter Light, huh?
Yeah, but I'm saying, how does that translate on an NXT if his wrestling style is to be domineering and chopping a guy down and doing all that type of stuff? You know what I'm saying? It's man trying to do the Walter routine at 5'10" with no physical mass. So and it's not just him. Zozai, I mean, I could see he has, he's a good looking young man. He's athletic, and I'm sure you could work the kid out and all that type of stuff. I could see that one, right? But like, okay, Zaya, he probably gets signed. The race, I could see things like that. But like, the point I'm making, Monty, is like normally when you look at the list of people that they try out, it's people that like immediately they look at them and they pass the eye test and they can like visualize them kind of working in their system. Whereas here, it felt like they just said, "Can you list me the biggest names in the European independents?" And they just like they invited like 5 of like the top 8 to just like try out for them. You know what I mean?
Yo,
So
Zaya, Rio, Luke Jacobs, we're good. We are
You're
good.
saying that about everyone today, bro.
well, look, I mean, I'm not gonna be an asshole today. Let's just go to the next.
Man, like there is.
Let's just go to the next.
Yo, we gonna fuck.
Let's just go to Rob. Let's just go to the next super chat. Let's just go to the next super
Ibou's
chat.
blew off too much steam lately. You know what I'm saying? Like he's had like, I think I've seen like 2 crash outs in the past like 5 days, bro. So.
Yeah,
he was yelling. He was yelling on Discord yesterday, bro.
Yeah, there was that one
go to the
yesterday.
next super chat.
Italy got scammed. He's still my favorite.
Well, that was fun. Yeah.
Any knowledge? But like I said, check out that
good.
Corey Brennan Fightful Select report if you want to know more about that. And I'll just keep up to date with Corey Brennan, bro, because as Ibou said, he's very up to date with like the European scene and specifically NXT. So, yeah, man.
I should get paid for
Phantom
the show. Look, just a thought out loud, you know.
Yeah, see how long you stick around for. There's a threshold you gotta meet. Anyway, Phantom FTW. There's thresholds you gotta meet, bro. We don't look at. It's not about the gate or the viewership. Anything could have happened. You know what I mean? We're gonna send Gail Kim a check as well.
Listen, we should have. There should be like technicalities to the rule. Like if you
there is. I told you there's a threshold, bro.
If you triple the gate, you know.
Man, there's a time limit threshold. It's about the time. It's about the time of work you put in, not the numbers that it produces. You get me? Like,
man, listen. Rey Mysterio wasn't in ECW a long time. He was there a couple months, you know. But people talked about that run, you know.
Then ECW fans still don't fuck with him.
It was explosive. It was memorable. What's the next super chat?
Phantom FTW £2. Appreciate you as always. Joe Hendry can't get booked in his hometown? ? Laughing faces.
Yo, I want to make
that was a pipe dream, bro. Like, that was never happening anyway.
Bro, WWE fans are really funny, Monty, because they don't like speak wrestler. If a wrestler is like actively teasing a surprise appearance anywhere, it means it's not happening. That's not how wrestling works. People are
especially
like,
non-WWE guys.
Joe Henry's posting like the gif of him turning around like right when they announced like the guest or whatever. I mean the special tag partner. It's like that means it's not him, you know. And I think it's very clear at this point that I think WWE has had their fill. To be completely honest with you, Monty, I think they gave him the NXT thing. They gave him the NXT main event on that pay-per-view. So basically like whatever was the peak of what you were going to draw out of that. They got it by the house that they drew at No Mercy and him main eventing against Ethan Page, right? And then they said, all right, then we will also, as a nice nod, give you the Rumble appearance. He got his Rumble appearance. Roman Reigns fucking eliminated him. I think that's it. They don't pay him.
Bro, like, what does he like?
I think the Roman Reigns stuff, like him interacting with Roman Reigns, like I know he just got beached and thrown out, but just like he had like a whole like. He had like a moment with Reigns at the Rumble. Like,
and here's
Jesus,
the thing.
So what more do you want from him? You know?
And I saw a lot of fans go like, "Oh my God, when is he going to be free? Like, when can WWE sign him?" Look, man, like respectfully, is that
we're good?
No, but is that say his name thing going to be hot in 6-7 months? Because that's when he's going to be free, Monty.
It's not now.
I didn't mean to get loud.
And exactly, and it's like. I think whatever WWE was going to get out of Joe Hendry, they already did without having to put him on their payroll. You know what I'm saying? They already got it out of him. He, like I said, he wrestled in front of 5,000-6,000 people at No Mercy in a main event. That's as good as it's going to get for Joe Hendry in WWE.
Yeah, I watched the last
and
three.
And then he was in the Rumble.
TNA, I watched the last 3 TNA TVs, and he's not as hot as he was like a year ago, bro.
Yeah, bro, it's peaked. It's gone. It's not completely gone. Like people still talk about him on social media, and they'll do all the stuff. But like the actual like wave of Joe Hendry. Like that's been and gone, bro.
Even
like,
TNA missed that wave because they could have gave him the belt
Yeah, they
like
did.
mid last year, and then they waited like 4 months to do
Yeah,
it.
They had him
They
lose
did.
to Nick
They waited
Nemeth
too
like
long,
3
bro.
times.
And so I say all that to say, guys, like wrestling fans are just so unable to discern things. Like, here's another example. This guy, Alex Hammerstone, he's emojiing MJF and being like, "Oh shit, is it gonna be what's the stable Rob from MLW? The Dynasty? What Dynasty, right?
Yeah, the
Dynasty.
Yeah, like he's posting pictures of the Dynasty with him and Holiday and Max and stuff. Guys, that means he hasn't even been offered an AEW contract. You need to learn how to speak.
He's angling.
Yes.
Yeah, and that makes me sad because I really like him, but you know,
I was a fan of him once upon a time, but like my point is, if wrestlers are actively shooting their own angles on Twitter and going emoji and teasing things, that doesn't mean it's happening. That means the complete opposite.
Unless they work for the company.
In the
it means they want
Alex,
it to happen.
Right, yes. In the case of Hammerstone, like I read that tweet and I was like, oh, they didn't even call him. So, obviously best of luck to him, but like that's what that means, guys. And we'll see what happens.
Hammerstone just need to get off the needle, bro. Put the needle down, bro.
Come on, bro.
Put the needle down, bro.
If a wrestler's been called that promoter, they move completely tact and quiet. Like Mike Santana. And this is not a report. I bet you WWE already called him. And do you see him selling for it publicly? No, not at all. So that's the deal with that.
Yeah. But yeah, Joe Hendry, bro, that peak, he peaked, bro. He peaked. Black Yakuza 94. I know this is the raw quote review, but Mariah needs to stay in AEW. Triple H isn't worth it, sweetheart. He ain't that good looking.
You know what's funny about this? So, like, I believe she's going to stay. I think she probably should stay. And I don't think WWE should be throwing big money at her. Obviously, I root for all people in the industry to just get the best deals that they can out of this industry. Like, so that's like without saying. But I'm saying, like, I don't really understand what would be WWE's incentive to like pursue her super hard, given like some of the women wrestlers that they already currently have and that they're about to push or about to platform, like a Jordan Grace or Stephanie Vacquier or Julia or Roxanne Perez, so on and so forth, right? But what is fascinating and funny is a lot of WWE fans have been digging up her old posts, and I forgot how much of a drone she was. Like, she was like an
everyone was, bro. The tweets are from like 2016 and shit.
No,
like,
but
Monty.
No. I'm talking like as recent as like 2021, 2022. She's making.
I know, but a lot of them where she's fully marking out and stuff. They're all from like 16, 17. Then obviously they're a bit more like coy, like, oh, Triple H is in London. Is it to give me a contract? Those are like the 2020s ones, isn't it? And
right.
There's like the picture of her outside
Mania.
WrestleMania. And you know what I mean? And that sort of stuff. But the full-on Mark stuff was like 2016. Like, they're old tweets, bro.
Yeah,
but,
it's really funny. I how much does that factor into this stuff? I don't know, because the truth of the matter is, you can't be a mark when you're negotiating contracts, and anybody that approaches it like a mark, they end up getting burned. There's a lot of marks in the industry, so like but you got to just be about your business and your paper. And I would imagine, listen, you know what's going to happen here, Monty? Let's be completely honest with you. Sean Rossap in about 2 weeks is going to tweet, I have a contract update for you. And the tweet is going to read, Barry Bloom is reportedly heading negotiations for Mariah May. At that point, you know what's going on. And then in another month, you're going to find out that Mariah May got a gigantic extension, and good for her. I think AEW should pay her. You invested this much into her, and she's one half of like one of the most successful women's storyline they've ever done. So they probably will. They're probably just going to take care of her, and she's going to stay. I
was talking with a few people earlier about this when this topic first, like when the report first came out about a contract potentially being up this year. And I was basically saying pretty much all the stuff that you was just, where it'll basically be a thing where AEW have invested way too much into Mariah May to just kind of like nonchalantly let her walk or anything close to that, Then also it's like, I don't think WWE will or really should match what I think TK will be prepared to offer Mariah May because of how much he's invested in her, and she's done pretty good.
She makes more sense for AEW, and they need her services more, given the layout of their division and what they've already done with her. It just makes more sense. It does then make you wonder, like, if that's the case, does Tony overpay then? But that's for him to figure out, and that's not for me to figure out or worry about. I hope Mariah reaps the benefits of the work she put in over the last year, and I think she will.
Yeah, she will. It's both things as well. It's like the AEW. She's one of the people that she's at. Like, who has received a more long-term focused like push than like Mariah May in the past 2 years, bro?
Yeah.
Look, she's been like a whole project, like, do you know what I mean? So, AEW have done well to establish her as one of the top women in the division, and she's done well to be able to kind of run with the ball as well as she did. I know there were some criticisms. We even criticised Lorraine to an extent, but it's not like she completely fell on her face or anything. She's had one of the, you could argue, the greatest women's story in AEW history, so she's gonna get paid, and most likely by Tony Khan. So
yes.
I'm not sure about the Barry Bloom thing. Maybe. I think she'll be able. I think she's got some. She's got a nice little bit of leverage, man.
I'm rooting for that headline just for the pop.
Yeah.
Just to pop about it. Yeah.
Don't have. Moral of the story: don't have a panic attack.
The funniest part about it is I'm pretty sure Barry Bloom is AJ Styles' agent. Hilariously.
Let's go.
I know. I'm pretty sure he at least he was. I don't know if he is now, but because the reason I say this is because someone reached out to me when I made a Barry Bloom tweet, and they were like, he does work with some WWE guys. But the thing is, like, if you actually look at the list, like, it's a lot of pre-AEW existing clients, you know what I mean? And recently, his bag is like getting Tony to drop millions on people. Recently,
yeah, he's a beast, bro.
If AJ is still with Barry and that's the time Barry's on, it's just a funny thing to think about. Like, can you man Barry?
What are y'all yelling no about for AJ? What is there left for AJ to do in WWE, nigga? There's absolutely nothing. What the fuck?
And so, what I was
barely use him.
So what I was gonna say is, it would be very funny. Like, could you just imagine Barry being like, "So, AJ, I know what's up. I don't know where your mind is at, but if you want to make $4 million, just let me know."
Bro, the funniest one is 100% Mojo Rawley and Alexa Bliss, bro.
Yeah,
bro, they won, bro. They won big in those negotiations, and Mojo Rawley went on a full-on like victory lap and podcast.
Yeah, said $2 million a year. I'm pretty sure AJ's making that now.
Yo, Alexa Bliss is a beast, bro.
Until the recent
do not fuck with that woman's name.
Until the recent extensions that happened over the last 3 years, AJ was one of the better paid people in the entire promotion. But then, like, Sammy and Kevin and a couple people pushed way past that. Randy Orton and a couple other wrestlers.
A lot of money in the business, bro. A lot of these big money deals, the talent are.
The thing is, but it's for a top 20% of wrestlers. It's like it's kind of a tough position, to be honest, because it's like
I think over the past couple of years, and especially over the past like few years, like the bottom on the main roster's risen pretty significantly, hasn't it?
It's risen pretty significantly, but it also increases your chances of getting released. Because
fair.
Yeah, you got to think about it. Like, now,
that's a fair point.
It's true, bro. It's like, oh, now I make $350, but now I'm like, now there's a target on me. Now it's like the pencil pushers and the numbers people are like looking at me and going, he's bottom of the roster. We don't need to pay him $350. Get him the fuck out of here after a year. It's like, so like, yeah, you benefit from like getting a big raise, but you're getting that for less years over time. The days of a guy at the bottom of the roster making $100K, $150K, and just kind of existing and being allowed to exist in catering for like 6-7 years, that's gonna be gone. It's gonna be gone because if fucking Akira Tozawa makes $350 now, or like whoever the fuck it is, Angel Garza or whoever, they're looking at that and they're gonna just say, well, we could just fucking switch them out for a younger guy from NXT or Evolve or TNA in a year or two.
Maybe it'll kill that. It'll kind of. It's a weird one, isn't it? Because maybe it'll kill that stuff that you kind of hate in the business, which is like the complacency. If it's more cutthroat on like the AEW roster, on the WWE main roster, and like you said, like the days of people just sitting in catering for 6-7 years. That's not really a good thing, do you know what I mean? But then you look on the other side, it's like, wow, they're getting paid, secure money, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, I don't really know if I want a business where people can just sit in catering for 7 years, do you know what I mean? And,
yeah.
It's a weird conversation, this is. He can go in many directions, bro.
AJ will be fine, bro. I doubt he wants to be there any longer though. He's like said it on
I have
podcast.
no
He's
clue
like
what
he's
AJ
like yo.
wants.
No, he said it on podcast. Not in like he said in interviews. He was just mad, like frustrated during the time period of last year. Like he's just sitting at home doing pretty much nothing. So like, and he was like, I'm not hurt. He wasn't hurt after the Marufuji match. He was hurt after the Carmelo match, but he was just like, man, like we're pretty much doing nothing, and like I'm healthy, and it's mad frustrating because they only call me when they want me to do something. So, but like even then, if he leaves, what else is there left for AJ to do? He's done everything. He's won the IC title. He's won the US title. He's won both world titles. What is there left? Well, not the current world heavyweight title, but who cares? Who gives a fuck about him winning that at this point? There's nothing left for him to do.
The thing if he's AJ, it's like, what is there left for him to do full stop? Like, he can just retire tomorrow, bro. You know?
He's got to have that. He's got to have that Ospreay match, actually.
I don't know.
I'm not saying he will. I'm just saying, like, like he's, like, legacy and everything. Like, it's so... Like, it's been set for years, you know? So it's like... It's just kind of whatever he's wants to / is most comfortable with doing at nearly 50 years of age, you know?
Yo, someone found a tweet of Mariah May from March 2022. She posted Hunter holding both belts after Mania 18, and she wrote, "My GOAT, my all-time favorite."
Bro, someone quote tweeted the Wrestle Purist tweet with like a montage, bro. It was like a collage of like 15 different screenshots. I'm gonna pull it up. That's why I was saying like the loads of them from 16, 17 when she's been like a full-on mark. You know what I mean? But obviously I know there's been recent tweets, like as recent as like 2022. Here it is, boom. Can you see all them? Obviously you can't read them, but you can see how many there is.
Yeah.
It was like, what, 3, 6, 9, 12. There's like 15 tweets here, bro. WWE Network and chill.
This is
Hashtag read. I'm gonna read them out because obviously some of them are old and they're like kind of cringe and just funny.
This is crazy.
One of them, she's.
Now do it on Gamate. I got like 2 minutes left.
You got 2 minutes.
You got 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes. So yeah, I gotta go.
2, 3, 4, 5.
I got limited time, Montel.
What's something? Ibou, boom. Super chat's name I'll never say. Ibou, possible Gail was more anti Vince McMahon than WWE.
Oh, it's very possible. I mean, when the Vince stuff was coming out, she had some stuff to say about it. When the Janelle Grant lawsuit stuff was coming out, she had a lot to say about it. But there's also the chance, and again, this is where it's kind of like irresponsible to be speculative of this. But because here's the thing, her issue is with the structure of WWE, and obviously Vince McMahon was the head of the snake. But it's for her to speak on whether she feels like it was a structural thing, it was something that she feels the promotion has improved on, or what. That's not for me to put words in her mouth. You know what I mean? Like I said, she was at NXT months ago, you know? And the actual truth of the matter is with pro wrestling is, you know, even if wrestlers feel a certain way or say certain things about whatever, like for better or for worse, they all come back, right? In her case, I'm just not going to speculate on the depth of her problem with WWE and what is her personal threshold for where that starts and stops and what she is comfortable with tolerating or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like this is not for me to speculate on. That's for her to speak on herself or come to her own conclusion. You know what I'm saying? So
I was just laughing at this. I'm gonna put it up on screen. Ish 499. Answer the question or else I'm gonna hurt you. Swerve winning or not.
I don't know. I sincerely,
he's gonna hurt you, bro. He's gonna put that pain on you.
I sincerely don't know. I was stonewalled by AEW when I asked. They were like, "Fuck you. We are not going to tell you." There are plenty of people in the company that want Swerve to win. It's up to Tony. So. It's up to Tony Khan.
It would be good for the vibes, man. You know. It'd be good for the boys, and it's not like Mox is drawing like record business or anything, or even anything that looks like there's going to be an upward trajectory anytime soon. So it's like, what strong reasons do you have for keeping the belt on Mox? You know.
I'll tell you what.
Anyway.
I think regardless of who wins, I think both guys both guys are scheduled. Their outlines from now until All In are pretty hammered home cleanly, Swerve and Mox, and it's set up in a way where it actually doesn't matter who goes over, in a sense that it won't change their immediate opponents. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like they're still gonna like wrestle the guys they're going to wrestle in the spring and summer.
Anything that he'd be potentially weighing on a bit better than we can. Kale, 20 pesos. Appreciate it as always, bro. Sounds like Saraya is going back to the Fed. Yeah, there's been some interesting quotes recently. I don't think, she said she'd definitely, if the right opportunity came up, she'd be open to it. And
here's the thing
positively
with Saraya
about WWE, So
I think it's just a case, to be completely honest with you. I think it's just a case.
Yo,
what?
Steph D-Lander tweeted, "What the fuck are we doing, lol?"
Yeah, that's what I seen before we went live. That's one of the ones I seen before we went live. Go on, Ibou.
I think in the case of Saraya, I think this is what's going on. To be completely honest with you, she wanted to stay in AEW last year.
Mm-hmm.
That's why she signed the extension. She took a pay cut on the extension because she was making a real pretty penny when Tony brought her in. When Tony brought her in, he made real big money. And, when the deal came up last year, it was one of those things where it's like, Tony was like, "Yeah, I'd like to keep you, and I'd like to keep you at this amount of money for, a short thing," which to me sounds like Tony kind of being like, I don't need you, but I don't mind you hanging around. But obviously in his mind, him paying her less is because she was probably going to be in a reduced role. And I mean, we've seen what it's been since she re-signed. She was doing pre-tape comedy stuff with Harley Cameron on Rampage, and then Rampage died, and then Saraya took some personal time off to start this year, and that's kind of done with, and she hasn't been on TV since. And what I think is happening, to be honest, I think it's more so that she's probably seen the writing on the wall that she's not long for the promotion. Probably has not been contacted for anything creatively. And so she's like, all right, well, they just don't have anything for me. Don't really care to keep me. And my deal's up in a couple months, so I guess that's it. And then her brother got fired. And she verbalized it herself that part of the incentive for AEW was to get her brother an opportunity. And if, the brother's not there, she's in a new phase in her life, and they're not really going to hit her up for anything. It's like, all right, then I guess it's it. This is it. I think it's literally that. I think it's as simple as just, she's basically, without being told directly, she's been told she's done, I think. And so she's like, okay, I guess I'm done. And so now, before it's an official finalized thing, it's smart business as a wrestler to drum up interest in the other side when there's a perception that, because you don't want it, what you don't want to do is do this when you're already out of a deal, because then it looked like you're just looking for a job. You know what I'm saying? When you're already out of the deal and you're doing, I'd love to work with WWE, it looks like you're asking for a job. Monty, you're muted. I haven't heard a word you just said, but
I only said 2 words.
Okay.
Of course you want to go back to WWE if you've not got a job.
Correct. And so I think the idea is she's doing it now when it looks like she's an AEW wrestler, even though in her head she probably knows, like, they're not calling me back to TV. So in her head, she's like, all right, let me drum up interest now when it looks like I'm, like, picking between two sides, when, again, realistically, it's like they cut her brother and they didn't even want her that badly to stay, and she stayed anyway, took the pay cut, and they're probably just not going to give her another deal. So that's the deal with Saraya.
All right, man. Yeah, we're just gonna keep rolling and move until you're sick of it. Ryan $2.79 Canadian. Mina and Mariah coming for tag team gold. I could see that happening. But AEW would have to build a whole women's
tag team gold. Where?
That's what I'm saying. AEW would have to build the whole thing. But
they're just getting to a place where they have a sort of stable women's division, nigga. They are not in the place where they could have a women's tag division even yet, close to yet. Nigga, stop.
Trent Alexander-Arnold been in the news a lot the past 24 hours. It's a snake, $5. Can't see Mariah leaving AEW after everything they've done for her.
Yeah,
That's gotta be ironic, bro.
Yeah. Monty, try to find any super chat that's asking a question. I'll take one more and I'll get out of here.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I was just like, you're just here now until you get sick of it, because I think that's basically all of it. No, any ones that I'd be.
All right, then. So, folks, if you, I'll do this. I'll take over the hosting for like 10 seconds, folks. If you have any questions you'd like to ask me before I get out of here, this is your final opportunity. Get them all in, and I'll answer as many as possible before I leave, because I'm going to leave soon. So, I hope you've enjoyed this cameo that I've made on the Wrestle Pierce Raw review. I will be more active.
You know you back next week, nigga, right?
I don't know about that, but
Ramadan is up next week, nigga.
I will be more active in the podcasting circuit in April, folks. So you probably will be seeing me on the Wrestle Pierce channel in April. And in case you missed,
his holiday runs out.
Yeah,
there's shit up next week, nigga.
Let me make this fucking announcement, Rob. Jesus Christ. All right, folks. In case you missed my announcement, I already announced that in April I will be taking podcast bookings. So if you run a podcast, it doesn't matter how big your show is, how small it is, how new your show is, how old it is. If you run a show of any kind, of any size, and you'd like to get Ibou of Wrestle Purist, Ibou of Self-Made, Ibou of Wrestling Twitter, Ibou of the Universe on your show, DM me for any inquiries. Preferably DM Ibou MGMT, Ibou Management. That is the official management account of Back of Thing Man. And just hit me up, and you will. We can talk turkey, and you can get yours truly on your show. So that's the advertisement.
You're gonna get that price.
That's that advertisement. As an additional advertisement, I am one of the 4 people co-running the Self-Made Discord. And if you like watching wrestling and talking wrestling, and you like hearing this, you're gonna get more of this in the Discord, because we do impromptu spaces where I talk wrestling and more. Most of them get recorded and put up on the Patreon as content. So it's not like, oh, you miss it, you snooze, you lose. No, it will be posted on the Patreon. You can listen back to it on replay. And the get-in price for the Self-Made Discord is $5. You get access to me, Rob, Ao, and Chris as you play games and do watch-alongs and do all kinds of fun activities and so on and so forth. So if that interests you, follow at SelfMadePW. The link to join the Patreon is in the bio. And with that said, folks, thank you. And let's take it away with these last couple questions, Monty.
All right, we got we do have a couple. All right then. Vernacular 199. Punk enjoying this build so far, Ibou?
You know, Vernacular, I'm trying to just like be on the straight and narrow. You know what I mean?
Man froze, you know.
You are putting me in a very bad position.
Bro, you asked your question. They paid their hard-earned money.
Okay, I'll tell you this.
You know?
$2 to get me smoked is kind of crazy. I don't know if this is worth the trade-off. I'll tell you this. Everything Punk was saying in his promo yesterday was a shoot. How's that for an answer?
Well, I just watched it, and he definitely did not seem very happy that he was the only one of the 3 who was at Glasgow last night. So
you remember the part, Monty, Monty, where Punk said, "I will be on SmackDown for the contract signing," and the crowd booed, and Punk said, "Oh, why are you booing? Why you guys booing? Oh, you're mad because it's not happening here, right?" And he goes, "Yeah, I'm annoyed too, guys. I think it's dumb too, everybody." You know, that was that was
up, nigga. Eat up, nigga. Yo, but guess what? You still's gonna show up to SmackDowns, nigga. That's all I know.
The part where you gonna say Glasgow?
Hey, he's a pro, you know.
I'm not in a great mood, Glasgow. You know, or good children, Glasgow. You know,
he's doing his thing. Bud the Builder, $2 Canadian. Appreciate you as always. Is Britt Baker and Saraya in the same boat?
That's a question you should ask Tony Khan or the individuals that you named.
Yo, we don't say that name here no more.
That's a question that you ask Tony Khan or the individuals that you named. That's not a question you ask back at Hangman.
No more questions about Voldemort.
Rob, please.
Voldemort. I said, Rob, please.
Bro, because y'all gonna get us in trouble, bro. Stop.
Ish 4.99. My actual question is: AEW bad, WWE good. Hashtag tribalism good. Hashtag we done with these marks. Hashtag cry lips. It's
I hear you,
aggressive,
man.
bro. That's aggressive, bro. Where else have we got? Black Yakuza $94 $5. Do you think WrestleMania is going to over deliver despite the lackluster build? Does that just? I think that's meant to say, does that justify the underperformance?
I think Mania on the night will probably be a fun 2-night show. I'm actually not like that. Like, here's the thing. Yes, I think like in the moment I'll enjoy most of the matches. Does that justify the lackluster build in the TV? No, it does not, because the point of wrestling is to have fun with the journey and be excited about the journey and be enthusiastic about talking about it and fantasy booking and being encouraged to predict things. That's the actual magic of pro wrestling. If it was just about having no fun on the TVs and then just enjoying the pay-per-views, then like why would I be in this? You know what I mean? That's bullshit. That's why, like, when AEW was working like, creatively last year, and people would be like, "Oh, but the pay-per-view's gonna bang." Of course it is. The talent's super talented, you know. But that's not like if that's what it's gonna be, then I have no reason to watch the TV. So between the journey not being fun and the card construction being extremely lackluster, it's been a tough one personally. So that's my thing. I actually do think Mania is going to be a good show. I think most. Here's the thing about multi-mans. They are good in the moment entertainment. That's the purpose of them. Listen, wait, no, what I'm saying, Monty, is the builds.
I didn't say anything.
The builds to create a multi-man are often convoluted, and it's usually just not very good television. And then after the fact, you don't remember the matches that much. The upside of a multi-man is that in the moment, it's like, man, this is a fun roller coaster. And that's you're going to get up and down the card. You know, guys popping in and out of the ring to do their moves on a guy while the next guy rolls in and out. You know, Braun's going to spear Dominic, and then Balor's going to come in with his sling blade, and then Penta's going to come with a super kick. And in the moment, it's like, you know, you're getting the oohs and the ahs, you know, the flashing lights. But yeah, I think the show will be good, but that doesn't mean this card is very good, to be honest with you. I think Punk being in a 3-way that's non-title is a fucking joke, to be honest. I think it's kind of fucking embarrassing. But
His fault.
I'm trying to be better at crashing out Monty. So I'll just leave it at that.
I don't know, bro. It pops me, and I'd book you. So you know what I'm saying? Like,
right. People tend to like it when I get mad. Unfortunately, people were asking me in the Discord yesterday, like, "Hey man, can you do a space?" I was like, I don't really want to. I'm like, pretty annoyed. They're like, even better. And I was like, y'all really want me to just be crashing out? And they're like, yeah. I was like, all right, I guess.
But the builder, $2 Canadian, appreciate you again. Is Mercedes in Tony Khan's top 3 favorites to book?
That's a question for Tony Khan. I don't know what Tony Khan's booking favorites are. I do know that Tony Khan likes kind of like, at least before, people would be in like invisible columns for him, in the sense that like there are certain people that he really likes using on his TV as like good hands to have to like lose matches. And like at one point it was Jay Lethal, and it always changes every few months. He likes wrestlers like that he can just use on his TVs to lose matches. And then with like the main event guys, like it really just depends. You know, he's gotten into a great rhythm with booking Hobbs and tags, and he realizes that he struck something there. You know, but regarding his relationship with Mercedes, I can't speak to that, and I'm not sure.
Danny Quang, $2, appreciate you as always. Is Jack Perry done with AEW?
I don't know, but the creative team has essentially conceded that the Jack Perry scapegoat experiment was a failure. Does that mean he himself, just the individual behind the gimmick, is done for good? I don't know.
Bro, I said this months ago, bro. If he just came back as Jungle Boy on Wednesday, I'd be happy to forget everything, bro. Because that shit was... Nah. Oh, good. That scapegoat shit. No. The Bridge Nation, £2. Appreciate his words. Ibou, thoughts on the Cena heel turn? I can't lie, it's terrible.
Yeah, the promo material is extremely stilted, and there's no connective tissue between what he's been talking about and what he did at Elimination Chamber. It just it feels very Vincian, the material, you know. For just the idea of a guy turning heel coming out and like you're waiting for like your brain has like three logical connective explanations for what he did, and then he just goes to like something really out of left field. Is Vincian. It kind of reminds you of when Becky became big time Bex in late 2021, or when John Moxley was a heel in late 2018, where it's like, oh, Mox resents Seth Rollins, and he goes, "You people are smelly." It's like, what? Or Becky Lynch, it's like she comes back and she like, people are happy to see her, and she's just kind of like, you people didn't appreciate me. And you're like, what? You know, and look, the promo that John cut the first time would have made sense if he cut this promo in 2013. I could not, I rejected the premise immediately because it was like, John, you've been getting love for like 6-7 years. The days of people hating you are long gone. Now, if that was just a deep rooted thing that bothered, they could have made it a thing where it's like, even if they give him love now, he could have resented the idea that like, man, when I was here all the time though, you guys just didn't fucking appreciate me, and like that manifests itself in a certain way. But it was not handled elegantly. Like, number one, it's been 2 promos and they have not addressed the fact that he sold his soul to The Rock. That was the whole idea of the build going into Elimination Chamber in the interest of that. There hasn't even been a mention of The Rock. That makes no sense. This was the angle of the decade. And I feel like by the week, retroactively, the significance of this angle is waning because they're failing to capitalize on it or directly apply to it. They're making this by the week a story less and less about what actually happened at Elimination Chamber, and that's like a big time fumble. And here's the thing. Hold on, Rob. Here's the thing. Cody and Cena is a big match, and the fans react to it like it's a big match, and they're 2 huge stars, and that's why like the segments are over with the fans. It's over, you know. But like, there's so much more that could be done in terms of the material here, and very little of this is about the actual match when it comes to what John Cena was talking about. It took him 2 weeks to talk about number 17 when that should be the number one priority driving force of what John Cena's being motivated by. Nothing is being spoken about when it comes to his desperation. When again, on January 6th, this guy said, you know, I haven't won a lot of matches, but maybe I could have a one miracle. He loses at the Rumble to Jey Uso. At the Elimination Chamber, he capitalized on a compromised CM Punk and choked him out. That's a desperate man. That's a man that sees the hourglass is running out, and he has a very, very short window to achieve what he's trying to achieve. That's a desperate guy. That's the type of guy that would take an offer from The Rock. But that isn't being applied or connected to or spoken on the TV. He's just ranting about like how these people are like insignificant and that they rely on him and this and that. It's just like it's very stilted. And then beyond that, I don't really believe John. I'm watching him on week 2 when he's just going full like 03 Triple H to start the show, and I'm watching him and I'm like,
oh brother,
I don't
fucking break.
I don't believe him. I'm watching John, and I'm like, this feels like a temporary heel turn. This feels like something that he's going to reverse right after the match at Mania. Which is like,
really?
I hope not. I really hope not. You know, I really, really hope not.
All right. So first, are you done, bro?
I'll end it here and I'll let you give your reply. To me, I think what's been holding a lot of this together is Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes both times. The first time, he was the voice of reason, basically saying, hey, man, this is not John Cena. If this bitch is at Mania, like, fuck that, right? And then this week, he made it about the belt. He made it about the stakes. He made it about the match, about the implications of the match. That is what this should be about. He's at least making it about the match that they're building. So I've liked Cody in these segments. I haven't loved John Cena, and we'll see what happens next week. I'm sorry, Rob. You can go.
Well, see, first of all, you're a mark because if you notice what Cena's been saying, if you notice what Cena's been saying, Mark, he's been sitting here saying, I've been giving you what you want for the past 25 years, and I am tired. He said it in his first promo. I am tired of giving you what you want. So you want, right? And you don't deserve what you want. So you want new music. You don't deserve new music. You want a new look. You don't deserve a new look. You want all these things you don't deserve. You don't deserve all these things. And so part of this is you want an explanation. I don't feel like you deserve an explanation. I don't feel like you deserve a reason why I did what I did. Because all you've done for the last 25 years when I've done exactly what you wanted, you still shot on me. And you keep saying this thing about he hasn't been hated for very long. Okay, bro, he's been cheered in the 2020s, but that doesn't delete the entire 2010s when he used to come out and the end of the 2000s when he used to come out and people used to chant John Cena sucks during his theme song. That doesn't delete when people used to do let's go Cena, Cena sucks for like the entirety of the 2010s. Like it's and I'm not saying like, oh, it's a perfect explanation like, oh, like I said it to Monty, I would like him to touch into the Rock stuff. But at the end of the day, bro, a lot of what he's saying is not wrong, bro. A lot of what he's saying is not wrong. I did everything you niggas wanted me to do, and you still shot on me. So, like, at the end of the day, I don't know. What do you want him like?
You know what makes more sense to me,
we
Rob?
all want him to touch on the Rock thing. Obviously, that's like a big thing of what we want. But I feel like I said to Monty last week, I feel like they're gonna slowly bring that out of him.
Rob, he has one scheduled appearance left.
Oh,
he has one scheduled appearance left. They've wasted time.
What that mean?
You don't think there's any chance that they add some more after next week?
Well, they're going to.
I don't know, but here's my thing. The stuff that John Cena has spoken on, his resentment of how fans treated him, you know how that's the kind of thing that I would have him elaborate on in a sit-down interview after we have already established the main premise of this matchup and why he did what he did. Like let's say John on the first week, right? You know what would have also worked? If week 2, Cody said, like, why don't you be honest with yourself? You're making all these fucking excuses about why you did what you did. You're blaming the fans. You're bringing shit back to like 20 years ago. Let's be real, John. Let's be completely honest. You did this because you're desperate. You spoke about how you won and you won and you won, and you realized that you're not that guy anymore. And you can't hang anymore, John. Let's just really look at it, John. You're desperate. And you know what you did, John? You gave up. You, the guy who never gives up, you gave up on yourself. You gave up on yourself the day that you realized that you needed someone else's help to get to where you need to get to. It's not about the fans.
But
they
like
didn't give
you
up
said,
on you gave up on. I'm just saying, like, if Cody was the guy to unpack that, then that would work. Because then John is now. You know what that does, Rob? That turns John's explanation into an excuse. It turns it into a thing where it's like he's pulling out this thing. Because this is what people do, like the human beings, right? When they do certain dubious things, sometimes they will jump to an excuse for why they do it. They justify their actions with something that's already been bothering them, right? Yes. John pulls out the deep-rooted resentment of wrestling fans. Cody goes, nah, fuck all that, my guy. You did it because of this. Cody could be the voice of reason bringing that out of John Cena. You could have done that. Or option B, John just go directly addressing The Rock and why he did it with The Rock. And then maybe in a sit-down with Kathy, he goes, you know what's crazy to me, Kathy? Everybody's outraged by my decision. When I played it the straight and narrow, when I did what people wanted, when I was the fucking puppet for this company and I kissed all the babies and I did the right thing and all that, motherfuckers were still giving me abuse online. People were doing this to me.
The Rock, another thing, The Rock didn't really help him of sorts. He kind of wanted himself. With the hell, I mean, if anybody helped him, it was Seth Rollins. But I do get, I completely understand your point. And I'm just not going to. I'm not like everybody else. I'm not going to sit here and be like, "Oh, this is already flamed out after 2 segments." Like you said, we have one more scheduled appearance. We could get the explanation and the reasoning on the last appearance, and I would like for it, since Cody Rhodes keeps kind of antagonizing him about it, not in a an antagonist sort of way, but I would like Cody Rhodes to antagonize him. And keep berating him to a point where it brings it out of him why he did what he did. Like I said, we have one more segment. It could happen in the last segment. I'm not going to sit here and say it's flamed out in like 2 segments.
We'll see. We will see. Listen, man. Today is quite literally the 1-year anniversary of The Rock beating up Cody in the rain and bloodying him. There's levels to this. And
you're not The Rock, nigga.
I'm very aware of that, Rob. I'm very aware of that.
We not The Rock, nigga. We don't got to do the same things, bro.
if John Cena is as great as he believes he is, and as great as most fans position him as, and as great as WWE canonizes him to be, if John Cena is that guy, I'd like him to create some magic here. And he has not done that in the 2 TVs since the heel turn. And again, that angle at Elimination Chamber is great no matter what happens from this point onward. But what's going to position it as a iconic, important, historically significant angle is the follow-up. Point blank period. People, the day it happened, were comparing this to the NWO. But if John just cuts 3 straight...
I don't know why they were doing that.
I mean, listen, if John Cena, rolled the lightning
We were
bolt
better than the NWO. We were on ESPN.
Oh, my fucking God. Listen, if John Cena rolled the lightning bolt and he was on TV with Travis and Rock, and they were fucking putting together cutting-edge television, and he wins the title and he shapes the rest of this year for WWE, and they do big business, and he runs it back with CM Punk and this guy and that guy, and it's an amazing run, then you can look back at that angle and go, yeah, man, that was a big-time thing. But if he just cuts 3 You People promos, loses to Cody, and then turns babyface at the end of it, you've undone like the actual impact of the fucking...
I know you got to get out of here. I wanted to ask you about that. So what makes you think
kind of a
he's
question
going to
as well.
lose? What makes you think he's going to lose to Cody?
Well, because there were aspects of some of the dialogue last night that frames the matchup in a way where Cody is going to save WWE from imminent doom, and you know what I mean? And like, that's fine. But then it's like, what did you achieve?
He ain't just bring this out of nowhere, Rob. I was catching on to some of those things, and I'm not. I wouldn't put my money on it right now. I won't put my money on it either way, to be honest. But there was definitely like some of the phrasing, some of the angling of what they were doing last night. Definitely did point to what you were saying of like Cody being the savior and getting the win.
And so here's my thing, and you guys know I'm a Cody guy. I think he's reached now historically iconic babyface levels in the promotion's history. Like, you look at the great babyfaces in history of the promotion, it's Bruno Sammartino, it's Hulk Hogan.
Oh, no, I'm kidding.
It's Bret Hart. It's Steve Austin and Rock. It's John Cena. No, Backlund's not on this tier.
Come on, man.
Wait, you said wait. You said who was in that tier? Go back to name.
You got to let us have Bob Backlund, bro.
No,
just for the vibes, bro.
No. And I like Bob Backlund. I think he's awesome.
That's what I'm saying, man.
He wasn't successful. There's a reason why they said Sheik kill that fucking guy. Please just kill.
Yeah, but bro, because he had to follow like the Bruno era of like Bruno and Superstar Graham. And
anyway, the point I'm making is
go on.
Bruno, Hogan, Bret, Rock Austin, Cena, Cody. He's reached historical, generational babyface levels.
Yes.
And so, with that being the case, like, I'm a Cody guy, right? And the stuff he's done in the last 3 Mania seasons, like, it's taken him over. Really think about it. Returns to face Seth, faces Roman, loses on the big stage, faces him again, and with all the stuff that happened at 40, faces John Cena after he turns heel, right? But with all that said, you're going to get more out of this if John Cena beats him.
Yes.
You're going to get more out of this if John Cena beats him. And if he does not, you've offset the effectiveness of this entire angle. Cody Rhodes is WWE Superman. And I know Superman usually has to save the day. I think at Mania, he has to fail. I think he has to fail. And
Rob,
that would spur on Cody's next journey. Because here's the thing about babyfaces, right? Dusty Rhodes is always about the chase. Dusty's business model, Rob, you know this. When he won a belt, after about 3 months, nigga, the Horseman or somebody's gonna fuck me over, and then I gotta chase for the next year. That's the business model,
Bro,
right?
he didn't keep it for long at all, really.
The modern equivalent of this. Cody Rhodes is somebody that he could have peaked 2 years ago, and he didn't. And he became a bigger star in 2024. He could have peaked there. Mania 40, you finish the story. What do you do when you finish the story? Yeah. But he's now in this unique position where he's continuing to ascend, and there's continuing to be layers to his journey. Yeah. And I think the next one here is if and when he fails to get the job done, and John Cena succeeds in his job of, in his word, ruining wrestling. And then Cody has to be the guy to vow to get to basically what Cody needs to do. It's kind of like when Naruto lost to Sasuke. Sasuke left the village, and Naruto swore to everybody, "I'm going to bring Sasuke back." You know what Cody's goal needs to be, guys, for the rest of the year? WWE, I'm going to bring you back the championship, and I'm also going to bring you back John Cena. I'm going to save John Cena. I'm going to rip the symbiote off of John Cena and bring you back the guy that we all know he can be and the guy that he always was. And so,
oh my God, he's talking.
Yes, and so Cody Rhodes, whether it's SummerSlam or whatever it is, he needs to claw his way back. Month. SummerSlam, he beats John Cena. John Cena turns babyface. It's a beautiful moment. Cody Rhodes gets the torch formally passed to him, and then John Cena in the remaining 4 months of his run can have the proper babyface retirement run after doing the fun heel stuff.
I think and that's the thing. Like, I think the dumbest decision you could do here is have John Cena lose, because the whole reason he's doing this, as we keep discussing, is because he keeps fucking losing and he can't win. But for him to do all of this just to go to Mania and lose especially in his last Mania, it would be fucking stupid. It would just be a waste.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, John Cena should win the belt, and then he should have title defenses against Randy Orton, CM Punk, and then you fit in a young guy in between. You could pick. Shouldn't even be in
question. It shouldn't even be in question, bro.
Yeah, we getting that 5 in St. Louis, baby.
Randy at St. Louis, Punk at Money in the Bank, or whatever the fuck, and then in between those two big rematches,
Punk and Money in the Bank will be perfect.
And then in between those two big rematches, he faces a young guy. And I think when Punk fails to beat John, that should be the first thing that snaps in his brain to be a catalyst for a heel turn.
Oh yeah,
AJ.
Oh yeah.
Is AJ a TV Punk, or?
I think Punk.
That's the move, Ibou.
I think Punk losing to Cena should, like, on some level, break his brain.
Yeah, that's what I'm with Punk at this point in his run now. And whether it's coming out of Mania or Heyman, or whether he snaps after losing to Cena or something in the scenario Ibou just laid out, I just feel like WWE, the landscape of the roster and everything right now, CM Punk being a heel right now is what I need to see, bro. Not right now, but like in 2025, I'd like to see CM Punk turn heel at some point. I need it, bro.
So we'll see what happens. Good stuff, everybody. I hope you guys.
Man, it's kind of like we booked this.
No, bro, Ibou, bro. You can't spend 20 minutes answering a question and think more people aren't going to send you questions. Do you know what I'm saying? Like this is. I'm going to let you cook. You get me? Like you do.
You just come back to work.
Nowhere to be. But it's just like you can't spend 20 minutes answering one question and think more people aren't going to have questions specifically for you. You know what I mean? Because that was the last one.
Do we have any more?
Yes. Yes.
Back to work,
all right. So this is what I'm saying. You got to blast through these, bro. You know, I know you want to give people the money's worth, give them the takes. You know, but this is what it is sometimes, bro. You know.
I'm expecting the PayPal at the end of the month, Montel. You know, I'm expecting the PayPal.
We'll see.
Come back to work, nigga. Stop playing, bro.
Danny Quang, $5. What should be the clues to look out for AJ Styles going to AEW? What are you looking out for, Ibou?
His handling after WrestleMania.
Fair enough.
I knew Bobby was going to AEW like Mania weekend.
Bro, I found out about. I heard stuff about Bob Lash AEW from like the weirdest place ever. So you never know with this contract shit, bro. What else have we got? Feels like Alright, WWE Wrestling and Gaming. €5.99. Appreciate you, brother. Do you find it hard to believe next week will be his last appearance before WrestleMania?
They have like 3 more weeks after that, so it's like, or not 3, at least 2 more. I don't know, man. A lot of WWE TV has been a piss take, so it's like it would be in line with the recent piss takes. I don't know.
Damn.
I think at the very least they should shoot one of those like via satellite promos, and he should be by a helicopter with like The Rock or some shit.
And Mike G, $5. Where does Mina Shirakawa land, leaving Stardom at the end of the month, according to Tokyo Sports? That
In the
is
words
true.
of Stephen A. Smith, what do you think?
What do you think?
Okay, I guess he's could say this was an Ibou one. Akiva, $5. Feels like Liv's recent run made her more deserving of a better match than the Judgment Day versus White 6. It got scrapped, so they added Dom and Finn to the IC title match.
I had no issue with the Judgment Day White 6 match. It would have been a hot undercard match, and they would have went nuts for Alexa Bliss and Liv Morgan's interactions, and they would have went crazy for Eric Rowan's hot tags, and Dom would have been eating shit from Rowan, and Uncle Howdy would have done his little thing. It would have been super over in the building, and the fans get into the intergender stuff, and Alexa and Liv would have had a really over exchange. So I had no problem with that match, and that match to me would stand out more than some like 4-way women's tag team title match bullshit. Now
I was into the idea, bro.
It would have been way better. Now they're gonna have to find like people to fight Liv, and off the top, unless fucking like the Kabuki Warriors return, I don't know what's a matchup they could come up with that would like fire me up. So I don't know. I don't know.
All right, but I think you're all clear to run out of here. Let me just have a look. I don't think any of these are like specific Ibou question. Yeah, I think you're good, bro. I think you're good. Get out of here while you can.
You got my PayPal, Monty.
Listen,
Rob,
bro. I got bills.
Rob, thank you for the house, Rob.
You said what?
I said thank you for the house before I leave. I need it for my ego.
Nigga, I'm not thanking you for shit till you come back to work.
I'll be back in April, everybody. Again, if you want me on your show, DM me. Hope you guys enjoyed this.
Don't listen to none of that shit that he was talking about earlier. Like, no matter how big you are, no matter what, bro. Basically, if you got that check, you see how he's acting right now with me talking about PayPal at the end of the month. If you got that PayPal for Ibou, yeah, get him on your podcast. He's gonna draw a house. Look what he's doing here. You're gonna get super jets. It's gonna be worth it. He's take it from me, bro. I've booked him.
You come back next week, and then I'll thank you for the house.
He's worth the money.
What's the
good
date
price?
Next week? What's the date on next Tuesday?
April 5th, nigga. Ramadan is.
We'll see.
I love how you use Ramadan like Rob isn't also like get right here.
Rob ain't fasting, nigga. Rob ain't fucking.
I did. What the fuck?
Rob ain't fasting. I'm out of here. Y'all have a good one. Take care, everybody.
Bless, bro. Appreciate you. All right. This is what we're doing. We're gonna go through these super chats that you guys have sent us, and we're gonna literally like blitz through Raw quicker than anything because it would be like just too unnatural for us right now to be like, so guys, let's sit down for an hour and talk about Raw whilst you all just get mad bored. So like I said, we'll go through these super chats, we'll blitz through Raw, and then we're getting out of here. All right. So hopefully another 15 minutes to stick with us. So appreciate you guys if you do stick with us. Hope you do. Please make sure you're liking and subscribing. The likes do help us out quite a lot. So please be hitting that like button. We don't plug it enough because, I don't know, I'm just unprofessional or something. But, help us out. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new, etc., etc. Ibou will be back probably next week because Rob's going to make him. All right. Ryan, $2.79. Appreciate you. He knows what's going to happen, innit? He knows what's going to happen if he don't come back next week. But all right, Ryan, $2.79. Appreciate it as always. I think NXT lean into Evans and Sugar's rivalry. They should, because obviously it's proven chemistry that they've already got. If anybody's not seen those matches, because I'd imagine most people haven't seen those matches, and seek them out. They're worth watching, especially if you are a big Jevon Evans guy. Showtime Spurs, $2. Gail Kim out, Tessa in is unfathomable. Yeah, it's crazy work, bro. It's crazy work, bro. I don't know. I think someone's already mentioned in the chat, and we've already seen it on the timeline. Ibou's touched on it as well. A lot of those TNA knockouts are not happy about this Gail Kim departure / firing. So, then obviously some of them obviously kind of feel a way about Tessa. So it's just like, it's just not good vibes right now, bro. Ryan again, appreciate you, $2.79. TNA was down and out regardless of WWE's involvement. Yeah, they're fucked, bro. I don't know if they're out because, like I said earlier, they're the cockroach of the wrestling industry that always manage to shithouse a way to like stay alive. And it's so
nigga, they are relying on a Ryan Nemeth and fucking Nick Nemeth versus Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy storyline right now, bro. That's how crazy it is over there.
Super chat's covering your face, Rob.
Readjust
again.
Because fucking what's his face? Joe Hendry can't draw a house.
Yeah, the fun with a few things. Bro, we even mentioned it. Like, even none of us here are like, oh my god, Joe Hendry should be getting X, Y, and Z pushes and WWE contracts and shit. But it's like we can still recognize that they fumbled his momentum, bro. Like that was a thing that happened. Yeah. So
they did the same thing with Cardona when Cardona came in. And Cardona's,
man.
Everybody wanted him to win the belt for a while, and they were like, here's a digital media championship.
Yeah, it's a mess over there creatively. It has been for a hot minute. Even when we try and lie to ourselves, like they did with the rebrand, like we try to lie to ourselves, like, yeah, we could get into this, we'll give them a chance, and it's nah. Anyway.
I think they should die for that alone.
Blake Yakuzi $94.5. Is this as bad as when Scott D'Amore got fired last year or worse? I think the initial vibes are very similar, bro. I'd say you'd probably lean on Scott being worse because of, like I said, he's Mr. TNA. He was running the ship, you know what I mean? Gail Kim was very high up, very important, but she wasn't numero uno like fucking Scott D'Amore was. So, but I do think the vibes are very similar, and it's very bad. It seems very bad anyway. The Bridge Nation, £2, appreciate it. Big up the lads. Build up this year for WrestleMania 41 is poor. Yeah, man. A lot of people ain't happy with it. A lot of people are okay with it. I don't think anybody's like over the moon with it though. And with WrestleMania, bro, you want people to be like fired up, excited, fantasy, all those things that Ibou was just saying as well, bro. Like you want people excited, fired up, fantasy booking, wondering where this direction's gonna go, where that direction's gonna go, and all these different things. But we're not really getting that. We're just kind of getting like mild complaints and people telling us why we should like it instead. And I'm pretty indifferent on the actual build myself, to be honest. I don't love or hate it, but I do think they have fumbled quite a few aspects of it. Van Jiminator $4.99. Reason I said TNA was 10 million is because Jeff Jarrett said he spoke to Scott D'Amore and it's more than he's expected. I certainly wouldn't think 10 million.
No. I'm gonna tell you what really happened. All right.
Jeff Jarrett says a lot of things, bro.
You're getting the scoop straight from me. That nigga offered them a lower number that he knew it was for, and they said, "Oh, I'm not gonna lie, nigga, we want 10 million." That shit don't cost no 10 million, bro. Them niggas got the Epico. Them niggas got Los Matadores employed in 2025, and you think that company costs $10 million? Okay, bro. That's what's up, bro.
Rosho 1221 $2.79 Canadian, appreciate it as always. When is big Maxwell coming back to Arena Mexico? I don't know, bro. I feel like he only done that because it just like suited his gimmick and shit at the time. You know what I'm saying? Because MJF has been very, very forward with not being overly interested with doing international stuff or being interested in international wrestling full stop, to be honest. And obviously I know a lot of people would just think, oh, well, he's a heel, it's his gimmick and stuff like that, but his lack of interest in like the international stuff is like pretty much a shoot. So I think literally we just got that because it worked for the gimmick. I won't write it off though. I would not write it off him going back to CMLL Arena Mexico. Anjan PN $2. Do they have any good therapists in Chi-Town? Always sending shots. Danny Quang $5. I feel like if Will Ospreay doesn't win the Owen, then that should be a clue for Uncle Alan in the dub. I don't know. Maybe. It's hard to say. Like Ibou said, I think the main thing to look out for is just kind of how he's treated in WWE coming out of Mania once to get this Logan Paul match out of the way. And we'll kind of see from there, because if they just bench him, then I'd have my warning lights on. You know what I'm saying?
I'm hoping. I'm one of the people that's just hoping he leaves, bro, because they don't want to. bro, they haven't treated AJ Styles with any sort of value, like real. And I'm not talking about these WWE Championship matches he had with Cody Rhodes. I'm talking about
They were good,
real
though.
fucking. Yeah, no, they were good. I'm saying they haven't treated his booking, his creative, with real value in like 5 years. Like real, actual, like we value AJ Styles in like 5 years. So no, we're good. We need that Osprey match and that Omega match.
And Jean PN $2. Appreciate you as always. Delirious Delirious in Gigantic 2025 is nasty. Yeah, we were still.
No, but he booked Davey versus Eddie Edwards, bro.
All right,
He
bro.
booked Davey versus
All right,
Eddie
bro.
Edwards, bro, and he
Stop.
you know.
WWE Wrestling and Gaming €5.99. Appreciate you again. It's a shame they're not reaching to the full potential we've seen as heel run so far. It is, bro. It is a shame. Like, even though it's only been 2 weeks, and I could kind of, some of you might have noticed, I just kind of sit back and let Rob and Ibou have their discussion about it earlier. And I didn't really throw my 2 pence in on it because I could see where both of them were coming from in different parts of it. I'm not gonna throw it out just because of 2 segments, and I do absolutely think there's a chance that even though it's the only one that's announced right now, I do think there's a chance that he shows up more than just next week before Mania. And I could see all the things that Ibou was saying, bro, about just doing new people promos and the things that he didn't touch on, the things that he didn't do, and it's
like I said to Ibou, I could understand how the you people promos are getting frustrating. I think the first one was perfect because he deserved Cena after 15 years of getting shat on, kind of deserved to cut, because they've been shitting on him since 06, bro. We were watching in Discord on the recommendations the other day, which will be up on Patreon this Friday. We were watching Triple H and Cena at Mania 22, and in 2006, bro, you hear "Let's go Cena, Cena sucks." So
no, obviously no one's denying that Cena's had he's had his weird years with the fans, bro. But like I said, again with the whole conversation he's having, I can see where Ibou's coming from as well. Where it's for him to go so hard in that direction when the fans have been showing him love for the past 6 years, bro. Do you know what I mean? 6-7 years.
Yeah.
So it's I see where you're both coming from. It's again, we don't need to bring it all up again. We'll kind of touch on it again
the first time. Yeah, the first time you abused me. Nah, I'm not taking it no more. This time it should be. We need to get to the fucking point.
Crowfo Graphic $4.99. Shout out. Appreciate ya. Tokyo Sports just announced that Minish Cards at AEW leaving Stardom at the end of the month. Yeah, man. Mina to AEW seems like a no-brainer, to be honest. She's very popular with our audience as well, so again, even more of a no-brainer. One of the biggest no-brainers in a while, to be fair. GN £2, appreciate it as always. Punk's quest to main event is carrying this road to WrestleMania. Yeah, I think Punk's been very good performance-wise in this year, to be honest. I've enjoyed Punk's whole run in WWE, but I do think in this year so far he's been pretty no misses.
But no, I feel like next year should be his real. I have to main event WrestleMania. I don't even think he should main event. I don't even think he should main event WrestleMania this year. I think
though.
The money.
Roman's
a
powerful man, bro.
I know that. I know that. And Roman's. You think Roman's gonna let 3 women main event over him? Yeah, I'm so sure. But no. In all reality, right? Bro. Rhea Ripley and Charlotte were supposed to main event night 1, and Roman said, no. My cousins are main eventing night 1. So I don't know. They may do the same thing this year, but. With that being said, I think the real money, and I don't really like CM Punk like that anymore. But I think the real money in CM Punk right now, at least, is building a storyline, a year storyline to him finally getting the main event of WrestleMania, even if it's in my fucking city.
See, I might want it to happen just for that now. So Rob has to
that's gonna be the year I'm gonna be a Cody fan, Monty. That's gonna be the year. I'm walking to WrestleMania with the face paint on and everything. That's gonna be the year we Cody fans. Yeah.
Yeah, man. All right. Anjan PN $2. TK must license Danza Kuduro if Mina is dub bound. I don't know. We'll see.
Why?
We always want
why?
Tony to license music, and he never does it. So we'll see.
Her music is perfectly fine. You know?
The final boss 199. The Rock's greater than Cena. Not even close. Get back. Yeah, I'd have Rock above Cena all time as well. To be honest, Cena's big thing.
I don't think anybody else
is
does.
like, nah, bro. You must remember how much Ibou got the shit kicked out of him for saying Rock's better than Cena. Like,
oh yeah, well,
he almost feels like it's a generational thing as well. To be fair,
yeah. I was thinking about it when we were talking about. We were talking about it earlier. It's like obviously like there are people who grew up watching Hogan who still think Hogan is better than everybody that we talk about. So it's a generational thing, bro. Like obviously us kids are gonna be like, we didn't grow up on the fucking Rock. So like we're not gonna be like, oh my god, The Rock is better than Cena immediately. But like I think anybody with a wrestling brain knows that The Rock is better than Cena all time. So
yeah, Cena's big thing, I think, in his all-time case, where is how he ends up getting put in like greatest of all time fucking combos is his longevity is like great, and even though he wasn't like a Bruno Sammartino type draw for he kept shit steady and solid, you know what I mean? And like I said, longevity, bro. It's his longevity is crazy. So
both of them niggas not higher than
star.
Flair. That's all I know. So
well, don't get me started. Match 184, 199. Who is better at their peaks, Omega or AJ Styles? Probably Omega, to be honest.
Yeah.
And
like
I've got
AJ
AJ Styles, yeah. Like this is like a whole bag of worms, but like in terms of like entire like resume, career, everything that I'd rank like a greatest of all time list on, I would probably have AJ above Omega, but peak Omega is like. Now, and so was AJ, but like peak Omega is just fucking different, bro. Like it's just. And I'm not an Omega, especially as far as this channel goes. Like, I'm not the Omega guy, you get me? Like I said, I'd have AJ above, and I probably do prefer AJ as a wrestler, to be honest. But Kenny Omega at his peak was just fucking different, bro. Like,
bro, we were watching Omega versus Ishii from the G1. Not the actual G1, the one they did for the US title. And brother.
He's a freak. He was a freak. Oh when you haven't watched it for a while as well, like 20, what years was you like 2017, 2016, 17, like those times, like late mid 2010s Kenny Omega. It's like if you haven't watched it for a while and you go back and watch it, it's still like it blows your mind again, like because he's so explosive and shit. Like even just like the physical stuff, and of course like his storytelling in those matches as well. It's how we built the legend of, the best bout machine, Kenny Omega, that ended up being part of the catalyst for why we've got AEW today, So, Kenny's peak was just different, is my answer to that. The final boss 199. Seeing the blood segment was 1 year ago today was sad. Yeah, bro, it's like, I think, was he? What was we on? What was we on yet last week? I think it was. Might have been worldwide. Yeah, it was worldwide. It was worldwide because it was after Raw, and I think we had Hulbert on, didn't we? And I was watching. So either way, someone somewhere has got a podcast with Joe Hulbert on it, where he's talking about how like I don't mind the first segment that Cena did. The first time he talks is about him doing like the You People stuff, and he kind of not having that much depth for it, and him not going into things because it almost felt like he had a mask on. And it felt like this week would be where like the kind of like the mask falls off and they do like a big like sadistic angle, almost like their version of the final boss beating Cody Rhodes down in the rain. But like obviously we got nothing even remotely close to that. So maybe it's next week.
Yeah, like imagine, bro, the rain was just like a coincidence. Like you know what I mean? Like what if that even?
No, but still, even without the rain, that segment's still godly.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Like
Dwayne shit talking, Cody getting colour, the blood on the belt. It was just fucking god. Like that's one of the best segments I've done, bro. Might be the best Raw segment ever, to be honest. It's up there. Fucking.
Yeah.
And I'm not even a recency bias guy, but that shit was just fucking. Like, come on, bro. All right, so that's the super chats. Blast through this. episode of Raw. So what did we spoke about Cena, but you know he kind of came out there. He did his whole thing where he's blaming the fans. He brings up the kid that he may go viral last week. He said he could rip down anyone in the arena. Nobody's safe. And yeah, it was just kind of more the same bullshit he was saying last week, really. Well, not bullshit, but you know what I mean. He was same points he was making as last week, really, except for he spoke about the spin about and how people rejected it at first and it ruined the prestige of the championship. But what he actually wants to do now is ruin wrestling, and he will be the last WWE champion because he's going to win the belt and he's going to retire it and he's going to break the record and you're going to forget about Ric Flair's name and all this shit. And he's going to take the belt away from the fans. And yeah, this way Cody Rhodes, he comes out, and I think Cody Rhodes, the big plus out of this is that Cody Rhodes has came across great, I think, in both segments.
Yeah.
And he talks about John, how John's made a big mistake, running down the fans whilst he's in the same building as him, and you know he's taking up for the fans, bro. Very kind of like Dusty would, to be honest. Dusty was very big on that, like taking up for the fans, being the guy who was like the face of the fans, you know. So that was kind of Dusty, yes. But bigger than that, it was more just kind of like top guy babyface stuff. You know, you're taking up for the fans.
And
you know,
I agree.
I
feel like it's better right now for Cody to get his shit off, kind of, and like kind of stand tall in these segments. Instead of Cody standing tall and him just getting buried like Theory, or like Cody just being like, you know, like the usual Cena promo where he's like, actually, you fucking suck for real, and here's why. So like, you know, I think it's better.
Cody's looking good, man. No, Cody was like, yo, you want this belt? Come take it. And he lays the belt down on the ground, and Cena like pretends to think about it, and then he gets out the ring, and as he's walking up the ramp, Cody calls him back. He's like, Cena. No, he's like, John, you know, and John goes to pretend to walk back down the ramp, and then John turns away again. And Cody was like, you see how you're walking away? You see how I'm in the middle of the ring, the champion, you know, and you're walking away empty-handed? Well, that's what's going to happen at WrestleMania as well. And yeah, the crowd cheered for him. He put the belt up, you know, and the crowd loved Cody, man, bro. And like I just said, Cody's looked really good the past 2 weeks, even if we have picked apart like the Cena stuff and like, we want him to do more, we want him to do this or that. Outside of all that, Cody's performance and how he's been presented the past 2 weeks, I think he's came across great, to be honest. But yeah, Pat McAfee mentioned Dwayne on commentary, which is it's funny because like I said, Pat McAfee mentioned him on commentary. So that means he's mentioned him more than John Cena has in the past 2 weeks, and he wasn't even here last week. So, but yeah, man, Pat Mac mentioned how, you know, Cena sold his soul to the final boss and all that. But like I said, Cody's coming across looking good. Cena, we need a little bit more, big bro, you know. But
oh yeah,
I haven't given up on you just yet, you know. You got anything to add that you haven't added already, Rob?
About the Cody thing?
Good? Yeah, about the Cody Cena shit.
I mean, yeah, no, that's what, like, no, that's the point. Like, I like that. It's just Cody getting his shit off right now, so eventually Cena can just shit on him. So, because a response is what y'all want, you know. So.
What else we had? We had Usos versus A-Town Down. Obviously, Jimmy Uso being revealed as Jey Uso's mystery partner. Some people thought it was Joe Hendry. No. Even outside of that, people, oh yeah, well, it was in Glasgow. Well, it would have been a cool moment. It's like, bro, this is a world title feud. Like, I know it's already got A-Town Down under, anchoring it down. It's like, this is a world title feud, remember, people. You know, like, if this was some mid-card bullshit with a mystery partner, then, like, okay, you know, but let's be real, bro. We got them Usos back. We the ones. And, fam, I can't lie, like I just said, A-Town Down under have anchored this down a bit, and I don't think too much of them as like good wrestlers or anything, but like, yo, this match, it was good shit, bro. You know?
Yeah,
them
no,
Usos, they know what they're doing in those tag matches. You get me? People say what you want about Jimmy and Jay's singles matches and the forms, being on form, off form, good, bad, whatever you think of them. But you see, when they're in tag matches, they hoop, bro. They hoop. I'm telling you.
Oh my god, man! Listen. I don't know if you saw my post yesterday, but when I was sitting at the table at the after the funeral or whatever, and I was sitting at the table, I was watching on my phone, and I seen the clip of Jimmy coming out. I found a video. It's of CJ from San Andreas just pissing on a fire, and I tagged Joe Hendry, and I tagged Joe Hendry fans, and I just posted it. Oh my god, yo, Jimmy, the Usos are so good at what they do, bro. Like they could break up for like 10 years and reform, and they'll never miss a step. Like it's insane how good they are together.
I love the Usos, bro. Probably said it before. They're my number one WWE tag team of all time. And yeah, it's just cool to see them fucking tag together. Obviously, it's not going to be a long term thing. Jay's about to have a world title match at Mania, but you know, all right. So after this, like, Gunther tries to jump Jey Uso. Obviously, the Usos get the win, but Gunther tries to jump Jey Uso. Jay gets the upper hand, but then as he's setting up a spear on Gunther, he slips in the corner. And Gunther gets on top of him. Then
the most obvious purposeful slip ever, by the way. You marked
people were like, "Oh, he botched again." It's just so
you fucking marked bit for it. The most because I watched it a couple times, like, and I was like, "Wait, did he actually slip?" It was like the most obvious. Oh shit, my bad. I didn't mean to do that. Like, come on. Fucking
yeah, so he does a slip and he fucks up his spear and Gunther gets on top of him and beats the shit out of him for a little bit. Then Jimmy runs him off with a steel chair. And obviously, you know, they're doing this like on purpose botch stuff to play into the story of like Jey Uso's confidence and shit. And you know, so that's like a full on. It was part of the storyline anyway, but now with those like little botches, it's like it's right at the front of the conversation. No, the storyline. Sorry. Then later on in the show, Jimmy and Jay are talking to each other on the stairs, and Jimmy basically just gives him a pep talk. You know, like, "Yo, bro, you're slipping. You know, you're becoming a meme out there, and you ain't gonna win the world title like this." You know, and Jay's like, "I know," and basically admits that he's doubting himself. And Jimmy's like, "You can't beat him. Not this Jey Uso. This Jey Uso can't beat him. I need that right hand man. I need that main event Jey Uso. I need that Uso that won the Royal Rumble, etc., etc." Jay gets all fired up and he's like, "Yo, I got you. You know, I got you." And as these conversations come to the end, you see Jimmy catch something at the corner of his eyes, which evidently ended up being Gunther. He walks around the corner after he's finished talking to Jay, and Jay walks off and he's like, "Yo, Gunther, next week, me and you." And Gunther's like, "Haha, try not to slip like your brother." And Jimmy smacks the fuck out of Gunther, bro.
Yo, this slap was fucking crazy.
He was shooting, bro.
Oh my god, yo, he slapped this shit out that nigga. I was like, let's go.
Rocked his shit, bro. And Gunther had to play it off doing his heel shit of just kind of like laughing it off sort of thing.
Yo,
like,
yo,
he smacked the shit out of him, bro.
Yo, a nigga, I was watching it last night in the Discord. Nigga in chat said he slapped that nigga in the Darvin Ham mode. I was like, yo, this is crazy.
Good shit though. Good shit though. Alright, let's we can keep it moving, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah? Alright.
Yeah.
Our Grande Americano video package. Alright, besides the like obvious like divisiveness around like the El Grande Americano shit, like there's a lot of people kind of noticing that like a lot of parts, at least parts of this video was like AI. You know? And it's just like, come on, man, it can't be that long to bang out a little video like this, bro. Like, you ain't gotta be doing all that, you know. And I'm not even one of those guys who's like venomously like against fucking AI, you know. Not all, but it's still. Oh, come on,
bro. The worst part about it is to me was the AI at the beginning was fine, right? Like even then, like the subject matter, obviously, I don't really like agree with the subject matter. But like obviously at the beginning, like the AI, you don't have shit from 40 years ago of Grande Americano, cool. But like, there's recent footage of Grande Americano on Monday Night Raw in the second half, and you're still showing AI. Like, why? Like, it's just the most lazy thing you could have done with this. Like, it's just pure laziness.
They've got a graphic design team as well. They've got a good one, but. You know, they've got all kinds of people that they work with. But yeah, so it's like, you know, it's this El Grande Americano, like, proper, like, souped up, like, video package where they talk about like this fake history and his pedigree and prestige and in lucha libre and how he was run out of the business by his haters and now he's back and and it's just some bullshit video package basically, yeah. And after the video package plays, Adam Pearce, Rey Mysterio, Dragon Lee kind of stood there in the office like, yo, what the fuck was that, bro? Even Adam Pearce is like, what the fuck, you know?
Did you hear what Ray said when Gable came in? And he was like, I got a doctor's note, yada yada yada. And Ray's like, oh, so you can't compete tonight in the ring? Okay, that's cool. We'll see you in the parking lot. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, man. Chad Gable comes in. He's like, oh man, I'm sick, and obviously he denies that El Grande Americano's him. And you know, as Rob just said, he gives a doctor's note saying he can't wrestle today. So that was the thing that happened. We also had Lyra versus Raquel in an IC title match. Not a bad bit of business. I like Lyra Valkyria. She's good. She wins with the roll up, and they try to jump her after, but Pam makes a save, Bailey makes a save, and she has a little look at the IC title as well. So we'll see how that develops. We got a New Day promo in the crowd, another ad break promo. They basically just say that they want to take titles. Then we got the Women's World Title contract segment. Io comes out, says she's going to stay the champion. Bianca comes out like, girl, Rhea ain't just pushing herself into this match like that. It don't work like that. I didn't win the Elimination Chamber for nothing. Then Rhea comes out and she wants her rematch for the World Title versus Io. Bianca is like, basically, if you can wait 3 weeks since you lost the title, you can wait 3 more weeks now and wait till WrestleMania. And Adam Pearce is like, no, we're doing a rematch. Makes it official. And yeah, they do the whole thing where, like, you know, Rhea and Bianca are arguing and Io goes to get in the middle and Rhea pie faces Io. And, you know, when Adam Pearce finally gets out of the ring, it all just descends into this big brawl again. And what I've noticed, I've seen a lot of people kind of like, I don't know, I just think there's just something more to like the Bianca Belair reactions and stuff. I don't think it's as easy as like, oh, they're booing Bianca, because like when she came out, they didn't boo her. When she first got a promo, they didn't boo her. When she first put her hands on Io though, they didn't like that, bro.
Yo, they were like, yo, they was like, yo, what the fuck?
And it's like even last week as well, bro. It's like they didn't boo her until she said she was gonna take the title off Io. So yeah, so when Bianca put her hands on Io and tried to set her up for like I don't know, she tried to set her up for a KOD at one point, and then she got off, and then Bianca sent Rhea out of the ring, the crowd didn't boo that, you know. Then Io got like on the outside on the ropes to like set up, you know, like the phenomenal forearm set up like on the outside, and then like Bianca reverses that and hits Io with a KOD, and the crowd kind of boos a bit. And then when Bianca picks up the belt and holds it up, the crowd doesn't boo that. So it's like she's getting some weird reactions, but I do actually think a lot of it is mainly just because they don't want to see her put hands on Io, bro. You know? Like,
yeah, bro. People love Io, bro. People love Io.
Because I'm seeing a lot of people be like, "Oh, the Europeans. We all know why they're booing Bianca." I was like, I don't think it's that deep. And everyone, you guys should know if you watch these shows regularly. Like, I'm not dismissive of that stuff at all, bro. Like, it's a very real thing, you know. But if you do go watch the tape, people. You know, they don't just boo Bianca. Like, you know, they don't just Bianca's here, boo. Like, that isn't the reaction it is. It's just whenever she puts her hands on Io and shit. So, the people love Io, bro. The people love.
Oh, they
Io,
do.
bro.
I mean, I don't really have an issue with this segment. People were telling me when I was watching I was gonna have an issue with this, but I didn't really find an issue. I pretty much knew they were gonna try to do something to get Rhea into the match, which I don't really care. Like, we all knew this was coming. I just hope that, and especially since they said later on Bianca's gonna be the special referee, I just hope they find a way to make this a sensible way to
Not
bring
lazy.
Yeah, like don't do the. And I feel like that in itself, like making her the special referee, was just kind of lazy. But like, I feel like they need to tie this all together. Just tie it all together. I think that's the big problem with Triple H Mania season right now. Is just like nothing feels tied together. Nothing at all
Mm-hmm.
feels tied together. And Jay and Gunther is the thing that feels the most tied together right now, and it's the thing that people hate the most. So I don't.
It's a shame as a storyline, bro, and like the story they're actually telling with Jay and Gunther, I think has actually been quite good. You know what? Fuck it, it has been good. It's just that like when the supporting characters are Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, that is going to just drag it down a bit, bro. So if if it was like a good heel tag team that was like poking at Jey Uso the past few weeks, and that would have led to the Jimmy Uso reunite one night tag match, and like that would have been different. But we've had to sit through like Jey Uso versus Austin Theory, Jey Uso versus Grayson Waller. Do you know what I mean? Then even though the tag match last night was good, so I'm not even going to complain about that. But like on paper, it's nothing that you jump up and down about, you know. So yeah, man, I do think the Jay Gunther stuff has been built well. I do think the Rhea Bianca Io stuff. I do hope that they can make it a bit more interesting, to be honest, bro. But yeah, like the way this segment went, it didn't surprise me at all, bro. Because if you remember, I think I even said this last week that it would go like this. Like Io stood tall in the first segment when they were trying to like push her out the way and stuff, and she ended up hitting them both, and she was the one standing tall. Rhea stood tall last week. Yes, it was twice that Rhea stood tall last week, but Rhea stood tall last week, and in this week Bianca stood tall. So all three women have stood tall at least once now. So yeah. So who knows where it goes from here? Obviously, we've got the we've got.
Someone said it should have been the New Day.
The match next week.
Someone said it should have been the New Day in the 8-time down under position, especially with the history, and I agree.
Yeah, that would have been really so much better, bro. Like that's money. Like what you just whoever said that. Where is it? Justin.
Right here.
So shout out Justin. That 100%, bro. And gold as well. New Day was right there. So yeah, bro. I 100% agree with that. Like that would have made these past few weeks completely different because the actual story that they're telling with Jay, I think, is very, very solid. What else we got on Raw then? Dom offered a spot to Penta in Judgment Day. Adam Pearce was pissed in his office. Obviously, Rob just mentioned that the Bianca Belair special guest referee in the EO scored Rhea Ripley rematch that got announced as well. New Day tried to come in Adam Pearce's office and demand title shots, and Adam Pearce basically told them to go fuck themselves. That's basically what happened. Like he didn't even set up a match for them next week. He just basically told them to go fuck themselves.
Like,
and then we had Dragon Lee versus El Grande Americano, and this is El Grande Americano's quote debut match, and he's got his very stereotypical music and all that sort of stuff, and he's Titantron, and then they announced, bro, this is the bit where I just kind of was just like, come on, man. Like, they announced that he's from the Gulf of America, and I was just kind of like, all right, bro, like,
bro,
it's not even a thing where I'm like, it wasn't even a thing, bro, where I'm like, I'm offended by that, or oh my god, that is so incredibly offensive or something. It's just like, my thing with shit like that is like, why would you even like go there on a divisive thing, and give people the chance to potentially be offended, even though I've seen a lot of people be like, oh, well, I'm Mexican and I'm not offended. And I'm sure a lot of people aren't offended. I'm sure most people aren't offended. But even if it's offended like a small section of people, it's like, why give people the opportunity to be offended so easily with something that can be so easily avoided? So that's kind of where I think WWE kind of slipped up a bit there.
I think it's a thing. I think it's just a thing as WWE is in an era where, like, I'm not saying they're going full right wing, like they're gonna have fucking "Make America Great" signs all over the arena and shit like that. That's not what I'm saying. But it's just like WWE is going in a and it's crazy. They want good PR, but they're going. It seems to me that they're going in a direction with the company that's just like, yeah, we're just letting y'all know where we stand on the political spectrum, and I'm just like. In a company that's trying to maintain that's like has Chris Legento working 24/7, why are you doing all this? Like, what's the reason for all? Who does this pop? Because it doesn't pop us. Who does this pop? I don't know.
It's,
what do I know?
I just don't think it's worth potentially starting discourse, which like I said, the whole Gulf of America, Gulf of Mexico thing, like that is like a divisive, like current topic that's going on, you know, that people have takes and opinions on and stuff like that. So it's like to then lean into that is like why just give people the opportunity to like make this thing divisive when it's like you're already, because it's a comedy gimmick and you kind of like, you know, doing the whole fake lucha thing, you're already kind of like towing the line, you know, and like that's fine. Obviously it's fucking, you know, whatever, but like I said, it's just like I'm not personally offended by it, obviously not, like it's not my place to even be offended by something like that, but it's I also do think that WWE is a little bit dumb to even give people the potential to be offended by something like that, you know, because it's not like it does anything for them. Like at least with like the Tony Hinchcliffe stuff, and then booking Tony Hinchcliffe, who's also been very divisive for some like jokes and things he said in the past. It's like at least with him you can be like, oh well, he's like a super successful comedian that's selling out, and they're gonna make, you know what I mean, they're gonna make a whole event of it, and it's gonna, you know, they're gonna get XYZ out of it. It's like they don't get anything out of saying Gulf of America. Like they don't get anything out of that, you know. It's just you're just causing discourse, right, which has been all up and down the timeline the past, you know, 12 hours or whatever, like 18 hours, however long it's been since no, probably 24 hours because it's early Raws. I think like the past 24 hours, yeah, like a lot of discourse about it. And you'll know where I'm going with this, you know. Like I just mentioned it as well, like yeah, of course there is like Latino people that are like, you know, I'm not offended by it. And you see it with other things as well. Like if it's an issue concerning black people, you'll see a few people who are like, oh, if you'll see a few black people like, oh, well, I'm not offended by it. It's like, well, good for you, bro. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm happy that you're not offended by it. Do you know what I mean? I'm happy it hasn't like affected your day or anything. But it's like that doesn't discredit the people that it has offended, even if it is a small section. You know?
Yeah, man. I'm good for you, Leroy. I'm so glad that it doesn't fucking offend you. But my friend over here, who is Latin American or who is Hispanic, is very offended by this. So
yeah, and it doesn't dismiss that. Do you know what I mean? So it's just like that's always something that kind of makes me roll my eyes when someone's like, "Oh, well, I'm from this this minority group or this section of people, and it didn't offend me, so you know, people get over it." It's like, bro, that doesn't you know what I mean? And I'm not saying people should be offended by anything, but it's just like, just because how offended you are doesn't mean that's how offended or not offended other people should be, and you shouldn't be dismissive of how people receive things, you know, even if you do think it's silly and just a joke or whatever. It's like people have the right to receive and interpret these things however they want, you know. So I think it's important to talk about that when we talk about these discourse things, because I do see a lot of that where it's like people just completely shutting down others, and it's like, bro, like people are allowed to feel the way that they feel about these things, you know. So
no, we're just being liberal marks. Actually, we're just being
yeah,
liberal
exactly, bro.
Like
it's just all that shit is just like, come on, man. Like people, then he goes both ways as well, bro. You know. So yeah, now we've got that out of the way, and we've spoke about that little bit of Raw, which caused a lot of discourse, and is still causing discourse now. Dragon Lee versus El Grande Americano. Of course, they had a great match because it's fucking it's Chad Gable and Dragon Lee, but they did have a very great match, you know.
Right.
Some of the spots that we're doing in this, some of the suplexes that Chad Gable was pulling off were fucking insane. The one off the apron, the belly to belly in the corner where Dragon Lee felt like it looked like he went like fucking 8 feet in the air. It was fucking mad. But yeah, this match was good shit, bro. This was the best match on the show, and I loved the tag match. So
yeah, no, this was the best thing they did on the show. The best thing they could have done for Dragon Lee. Obviously, he lost, but it wasn't in a very, very clean fashion. Because he did rip the mask off of Dragon Lee. So, but
he did.
It was great. It was great.
Rip the mask off for the win. Wait, rip the mask off and then put the ankle lock on. Because obviously that plays into the whole "it's really Chad Gable, bro" stuff, So yeah, El Grande Americano / Chad Gable defeats Dragon Lee. We need more Dragon Lee TV matches, and yeah, man, good shit from a match perspective. CM Punk promo weren't really a lot to it. We talked about it a little bit with Ibou earlier. He was talking about how he's not in a good mood, how he's got to do a contract signing. The crowd boos. He's like, "Why are you booing?" Yeah, I wanted to do it this week as well, but I'm the only person here in Glasgow. He went on this thing. He then goes on to like this rant about how the more things change, the more things stay the same. And I work with children, which is another line that started a lot of discourse because obviously it's like a nod to his media scrum rant at AEW, talking about working with children. He calls Seth Rollins a baby. He says that Roman's insecure because he sees that his wise man isn't really his wise man. It's personal for them though, and it's just business for me. Everyone knows what I want. And, got this contract signing next week in London. And he wants to leave us with two things. Neither Seth Rollins or Roman Reigns has ever beaten CM Punk without the other one's help because they can't. And he brought them into this business and he cannot wait to take them out of this business. So, Rob, you got any... And we all know CM Punk's your favourite wrestler in the world. We all know you love it when CM Punk mentions his time in AEW or hints at it or any sort of shit like that. So what did you make of this, though?
All I'm going to say is keep making your jokes. Keep making your references, you fucking mark. All I know is you hated Triple H 10 years ago, but now when that nigga say jump, you say jump. So I don't want to hear. I don't want listen. And the thing about Roman and you better be lucky that Roman Reigns graced your presence and allowed you to have this match with him at WrestleMania. Because if it was up to us, you know what we'd be doing, and you know what you.
Who's us, bro? Who is us? Because it ain't me and you.
Huh?
It's not.
What happened? Huh? What do you mean?
Me and you is not us in this situation right here, I fuck with CM Punk, bro.
If it was up to us, not me and you, if it was up to us, meaning the family, meaning Roman Reigns and if it was up to us, you know who we'd be facing, and you know who you'd be facing. So you nigga, when we walk in that building in the O2 Arena on Friday, you better be kissing the ground that we walk on.
All right, bro.
You can say whatever you want out. You can say whatever you want in the general public, nigga, but you know we're going behind closed doors. Paul, please, Paul, please, just convince him, Paul, please.
All right, so that's Punk's live promo. I thought it was actually a pretty good promo as far as like the cards he had to deal with, if that makes sense. Oh. No Seth, no Roman there, not even Heyman's there. Just go out there and cut a live promo to hype up a checks note contract signing. You know what I'm saying?
One more thing before we move off this topic. One more thing.
All right.
You could have Paul Heyman back. We don't need him anymore. We can main event a pay-per-view without Paul Heyman. You, on the other hand, not so possible for you. You remember John Laurinaitis was main eventing pay-per-views over you until Paul Heyman stepped in the picture. So that's all I got to say.
Come on, bro. All right. Moving on. Chad Gable comes out in the middle of the ad break and he apologizes for being sick and not being able to wrestle tonight. And obviously this gets loads of heat. And he's talking about how he was excited to perform tonight and he can't believe that these fans would boo a sick man. And he's just healing it up, bro, in the ad break. That's all this was, So if you missed it, you didn't really miss anything much. All right, so main event time. Penta versus Bron Breakker for the men's Intercontinental title. Before the match, Bron Breakker had a cool little promo outside with, I think it was Kathy Kelly, outside the arena. It looked really cool and shit. And, yeah, man, let's get to it. Bron Breakker versus Penta. They had a nice little match. I don't think it was anything particularly special. I thought it was quite good, though. Obviously,
I feel like it started and was kind of over.
Exactly. It ended in a DQ. The Judgment Day getting interfering and obviously causing the DQ. Finn, Dom, all at the scene of the crime, and as they've got Bron Breakker pretty much down, Penta's getting to his feet, and Dom tries to give Penta the chair and be like, "Yo, X him off, finish him off." You know what I mean? Join the Judgment Day. That was kind of the gesture. Obviously, Dom asked him to be in the Judgment Day earlier in the show. And Penta don't go for it, bro. You know what I mean? He fucks up the jet. He fucks up the Judgment Day. Finn Balor can't believe it. He's doing all these facial expressions that he loves to do now, and yeah, man. Obviously, Penta's not in. Penta's not joining the Judgment Day. I don't think anyone was really expecting him to. And yeah, this OC title feud is it's opening up apparently. Spoiler alert: 3, 2, 1. Sean Rossap reported yesterday that the plans for the IC title match at WrestleMania is Bron Breakker, Finn Balor, Dom, and Penta. So obviously all 4 of those were involved last night, and it seems like that's the match, which I'm not over the moon about, Rob. The people know how I feel about multi-mans, man.
But you know what it is, bro? Triple H, you can kill the man, but you can't kill the idea. Triple H is in a position. I talked about it yesterday with Ibou in the space, and it's kind of funny to me how TK gets shit for this all the time, but Triple H doesn't. Triple H is in that position. You know how Vince always used to do it, bro. Everybody's got to get a position on the card. Everybody has to have a match on the card. So he can't tell nobody. And he can't tell nobody, no, you're not doing this. So obviously, and he's so worried about because as much as he likes to make it seem like he does, Triple H is worried about what y'all talk about on Twitter, and so he sees all these people's fans complaining, and he's like, "Well, fuck, I guess I gotta get Dom on the show. I guess I gotta get Finn Balor on the show." Which Dom is the one thing, right? But like Finn Balor in 2025, come on, man, come on now, man. Let's. I would have much rather AJ versus Finn or than fucking him be involved in this IC title match that he doesn't deserve to be involved in because he lost to Bron Breakker. He hasn't won a match since he hasn't won a singles match since like 2023, by the way. So, but yeah, I mean, I guess you got to do what you got to do. It's just very funny to me that TK gets the not being a boss criticisms, but Triple H is literally not a boss either.
I guess the only thing that I'd give Triple H over TK in that regard is that like TK literally owns the company. Do you know what I mean? So it's like Nick Khan, TKO, Dwayne, anyone could just cut Triple H's balls off whenever they want. And I think a lot of WWE fans and loyalists and defenders will jump to that excuse for things that have absolutely nothing to do with it. You know, it's like if Dwayne is about to be on a show and the show gets moved around, then yes, you can blame it. Do you know what I mean? But if fucking, I don't know, if you're not happy with how Alexa Bliss has been utilised since the comeback, then like that has fucking nothing to do with those factors. Do you know what I mean? But like I said, at least Tony Khan, it's his company. Nobody can tell him to book or do shit. Talent can tell him no, but they're fucking under contract to him at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's a little bit different, but I do think there is definitely something to what Rob says, where like people always make out like Triple H is this guy that gets people to do business and he rules with an iron fist, and it's just like it's definitely not that. He might, yeah. So, and I think Tony Khan's a little bit more sterner than he used to be from all little conversations you hear these days. But yeah, man, the Mania build definitely does have some levels to go.
Voldemort.
Well, there you go, bro. There you go. That's another example. But Mania build's been, I don't think it's been terrible. I just don't think it's been anything worth jumping up and down about. I do think there is still chance for him in these next few weeks to really kind of like shut down a lot of the criticisms. I don't think any of the criticisms really are things that are unsavable. Like, I don't think any of these storylines or any of these matches or anything like that have gone past the point of no return. There's still time. and I don't think it's been terrible either. But there definitely has been a lot of, valid criticism. So that was Raw. This podcast has already gone like fucking an hour longer than we were supposed to, bro. I was only planning on doing like 90 minutes, but of course we had the Ibou unexpected running. We was talking with him for about an hour, so that's the extra hour. That was basically the extra hour and the extra super chats. We appreciate you guys for tuning in and sending those super chats. Please like the video if you haven't already. We need that. We need that. We need those likes that help Rob feed his family. He's got like 4 kids now. We're losing count. It's just it's getting crazy, bro. We need it. We need those likes, bro. Hit the likes. Like I said, help Rob pay for his family, support his family, and yeah, bro. You got any plugs? You want to plug Self-Made or anything?
2 things. I will be on Twitch and about. I mean, I felt like going live after the show ended, but I gotta rest a little bit, bro. Like I gotta. So I'll probably start at like 5 or something, maybe 5:30. I don't know. I'm probably 5, definitely 5. I'll start at 5 today, so I can watch some matches, get some extra little bit of content in, and then I'm gonna drop my Twitch in a second. But tonight in Self-Made, I did not forget, guys. Tuesdays is always Sopranos Day, so we are watching the Sopranos tonight in Discord.
What season you on?
We're on season 3. Yeah, we're on season 3. I don't think we touched the episode. I'm not gonna spoil it, but I don't think we touched that episode yet. So no, we already went past the Melfi episode, and we got past when Ralphie kills the chick episode. So, but
he's still on season 3 and haven't got to Pine Barrens yet for the Sopranos fans that may be interested.
Think so.
No, you definitely haven't. So. Pine Barrens is like quite late in the season.
But yeah, that's what I got going on. And Dynamite review might return Thursday, depending on what everybody has going on Thursday. But it's gonna be me, Chris, Marcus, and Novi as always. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I got going on this week. So, and then I promise, Ibou will be back here next Tuesday. There's no more games.
Putting promises out there. No more Ramadan. Ibou's getting put back.
Bro. Ramadan is over. Eid Mubarak is literally this weekend or the day before next Tuesday. But either way, he will be back here next Tuesday. I put it on Storm's life that he will be back here next week. So.
Yeah, man, good shit, bro. Good shit. All right. Just a nice note to end on. Speckles 199. Cena cannot chat to my Demon Flair, bro. If we're talking wrestling career, like I'm not talking about all the stuff outside of wrestling that you can definitely slander Ric Flair for, But if we're just talking wrestling career, bro. He genuinely cannot talk to Ric Flair, bro. He can't.
I don't think a lot of people could talk to Ric Flair.
They can't. I don't think they're gonna either. To be brutally honest, there's probably less than 5 people that can even talk to him. But anyway, those are just opinions, probably hot takes for some of you. Appreciate you guys again for tuning in. Appreciate the super chats. And we will be back maybe tomorrow. I haven't actually spoke to the girls yet, but Girls on Graps is obviously usually Wednesdays, then obviously the Dynamite recap on Thursday. So lock in, like the video. Hope you already subscribed. Hit up Rob's Twitch. And yeah, man. Peace.